Hey, Arch, gotta start the show. We gotta start the show, big boy. We gotta start the show. Let's run the intro and let's start the show. Hey guys, it's ArchieLuxury. How are you today? Guys, it's your Pontiff, and we're on Pontiff TV. That's right, guys. We're here, and we are here to talk to you and see what you guys are up to. I got to tell you something, guys. It's been really interesting. We had a good show yesterday. I'm hoping to get getting some good guests on here. I love the guests. The guests are always very important to me. I like to have some guests. We like to have fun on the stream. Guys, I got to tell you something. The Rolexes, watches, what's going on? What is happening? What is the actual situation? So watches themselves, what's happened? We've gone through a very turbulent. It's very turbulent, okay? It's turbulent. It is incredibly turbulent. Okay, we've had a very, 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 very bumpy ride. And this is what's happened. Okay, we've had a bumpy ride. Market went ballistic. You had many stupid things were happening. Many stupid stuff was happening. And then what happened then? Well, you know what happened, don't you? The market. We went into reality. Yeah. reality. And reality isn't always the best thing. Reality isn't always the best thing. No, it's not. Reality is not always the best thing, okay? It's difficult. Many things are difficult. And I've got to be honest with you. Many stuff that we do can be really difficult. It can be hard and it can be difficult. Let's start a poll today. We're going to run a poll today. We're going to run a poll. Do you think you can get a Rolex Steel Sports from the AD? Do you think you can get a steel? Do you think you can get a Rolex Steel Sports from the AD? Let's run that poll, see what the sentiment is out there in the community, the Archieverse. Let's get these things happening. So, guys, what can I say there? It is all very tricky stuff. Great show today. Talking Rolex bargains and AD games. Okay, I'm just sending a few invites out now. We get a couple invites out there. Get a few invites out there. I got a few good friends. Who else can we get? What's our friend Marcelo up to? We've got some good people who want to come on and have a chat. The doc BB. I love the doc. Who else have we got here? Look at the Hofmeister kink. Hofmeister kink. Let's have a look here. Oh, what is Machine Gun Chris up to? What is he up to? I love my Machine Gun Chris. He's good. He's cool. What's the Ross Rachel Brady network up to? What's he up to? It's really difficult to say. Okay, we've got some interesting stuff going on in the world. We've got to be happy, but be happy. Red Shovel. What's Red Shovel up to? I haven't spoken to Red for a while. He was good. He came on. He was a good watch chat. I like him. He's cool. He's very cool. Who else have we got there? Mark. I like that guy. He's cool. He's very cool. Let's have a look there. Let's have a look. Da-dum, bum, 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 bum. Jakey. So, what is going on? What is happening? I don't know. I don't know. You know, this is the whole thing. I don't know. That's exactly it. I don't know. The market, the everything. This is just the world we got HR. Hello, Mr. HR. How are you, sir?
Hey, Paul, another day, another blessing. I've got something funny to tell you, though.
Yes, sir.
So I finished my wage cut job today, and I went up to do some shopping. And I was picking up I'm revamping my work wardrobe, Arch. So I went into a suitor and I was getting some shoes. I've got some trousers, some shirts, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the shop assistant notices the Bluesy and then goes on to tell me that his dad is worth £8 million. I went, oh, okay. Is he old? Is he young? And he starts talking about inheritance. Anyway, Arch, this fucker says he's going to be rich. Guess how much he's going to inherit? Yeah, he's bragging to me. He's only inheriting 300,000.
Pounds.
Yes, that's fuck all. What are you going to do with that? You can barely buy a house for that. And he's telling me he's going to be rich. Yes.
It's all relative. And what did he
He's
say
right.
about your Bluesy? What did he say about your Bluesy?
He said it's a lovely watch, but Arch, I've got to be honest with you, this guy was a grade A canter. He basically said, nice watch. My dad's got 14 Rolexes. And you know what he was wearing? A Daniel Wellington. I said to him, buddy, if your dad is worth £8 million, can't he buy you a fucking sub? No, he didn't.
Wow, okay. And
I said, just put it in a bag and give it to me. And I flashed the Bluesy and
what
left.
shop were you shopping at? A menswear.
I've got to be careful I don't dox myself here. No, it's fine.
No.
Charles,
Like a menswear. What were you buying?
I was shopping in Charles Tirrett. I was buying some pleated trousers, 4 slim shirts. I've got a performance.
You like the slim fit? Do you like slim fit?
Extra slim, yes. And I got a performance zip up and a performance gilet because I want to look like one of those finance bros. You know this, Arch? I'm working in the city, but I work in HR. You're fired.
Yes. No, I get it.
You know the look, Arch. I've got my brown monks on. I've got the blue navies. I've got a white shirt and a gilet on top, a performance gilet. It's moisture wicking. I'm ready to fire these cunters, Arch.
Hey, that's great news. That's really good. We love it. And tell me this, how's any watches in the workplace? What have you found in the workplace lately?
So in the workplace, I've seen a Hulk. That was very nice. I saw a Breitling.
Sorry. I got a super chat here. Craig Lewis, $10. Hello. I'm thinking of buying a 14060. Should I go for ceramic? So 14060 is a pre-ceramic. Should I go for ceramic? Okay, that's a good question. Look, you know what? I think the Neo vintage, the 14060, that's a two-line Generally speaking, it's a 2-line, no date sub sapphire. I love that watch. I've owned it a couple times. Personally, would I go for ceramic? I don't think it really matters. It depends on the deal. And if you get a good deal, hey, by all means, if you get a good deal, if you don't get a good deal, look, the no date ceramic or non, like, I mean, I really love the Bluesy as a ceramic. I think that just pops. But I must say the 14060, it depends on the deal. If you get a really nice example, it's worth getting. But if it's not a super nice example, hey, I would get the ceramic. The ceramic is cool. The beautiful thing with the ceramic is you've got it's the improved. You've got the improved clasp. This clasp is a lot better than the pre-ceramic. Okay, it's a lot better. However, I like a really nice 14060 Neo vintage. They're so cool. I don't think that's a terrible watch either. Either way, you can't go wrong, Craig. Now, getting back to our HR man. So, you were saying you saw a Hulk. Who had a Hulk?
One of the chaps in London. It was lovely though. It was lovely. It was lovely. The Hulk. I've also seen a Breitling Emergency. Shitter. That wasn't very nice. That was one of the chaps on site. What else have I seen? A Tag Oya Carrera. Shitter. Get that piece of shit out of here. What else have I seen? Oh, an Omega. Okay, Arch, this was a weird one. An Omega Seamaster 300 Black Chrono. Why do you need a chrono when you're going diving? I don't understand. Explain, Arch.
Yeah, why do you need a chrono when you're going diving? That's a very good question. What do you need a chrono when you're diving for?
What am I doing? Timing how long it takes for a shark to eat my gonads, Arch.
Exactly. We've got another super chat. Look at this. We've got a super chat from our good friend, the Bear Clooney, $5 Canadian. Can't jump on tonight. In Detroit, supporting the Lions. Have a great show. Have a great show. Wearing Bluesy tonight, Fikers. Wow, he's wearing his Bluesy.
Wow.
Beautiful watch. We've got another super chat here. William Gaudrian, €2. Hi, Arch. Do you have much scratches on your Bluesy? Good question. Good
Let's see
question.
the class. Let's see
I
the class.
recently changed the light in my study here, and this light, it's one of these LED lights. You can see the scratches so easily instead of the fluorescent. Yeah, I actually put a scratch in the class the other day. Look, see that little scratch there? You can see it. It's a line.
Oh, that's nothing.
Look, I think, you know what? I think these watches, they're made to wear. Just wear the bloody thing. And I got to tell you, I bought the watch to wear. I want to wear it. It makes me very happy to wear it. I got to tell you, some watches, the Breguet, that's a beautiful, look at that beautiful watch there. That's beautiful.
I don't know, Arch. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Coin edging. Just beautiful.
I don't know. I'd rather have the engineer.
It's very good bang per buck. This is a very good bang per buck watch. Just putting it back in its casing. I got to be totally honest with you. I feel more relaxed when I wear the Bluesy.
Arch, the Bluesy. It's so light. It's lovely, and the hookers love it.
Everybody loves a Bluesy.
Yes, they do. They
So to
do.
answer William Gaudrin, yeah, I got scratches, but you know what? I if I'm doing something like fairly physical, I'll take it off. But I bought the watch to wear and enjoy, and I think it's okay. I'll be honest with you. I think it's okay. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have problems with it. What do you think? Tell me what you're thinking. Give me your thoughts.
What with the Brego?
Yeah. What do you I mean, look, I think, you know what, realistically,
Hold on, you asked for my thoughts and you keep talking.
sorry. Sorry.
I'm only yanking chain out. Listen, my honest opinion. You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
Get rid of that piece of shit Brege. It's nothing. You are the pontiff. I want to see you in Rolex. I want to see you in Audemar's Piglet. I want to see you in Patek. I don't want to see you in a Brege Arch. Even
Yes.
Omega. I take an Omega over a Brege. No, it's not you. You need to get rid of it, Arch. You're doing it because of the healer. I don't know why you're doing it. Did somebody suck you off so you can wear it? I don't know. You need to get rid of it. You need to shift it on, big boy.
Yes, I completely understand. I completely understand. I understand what you're saying.
Arch, let me be honest with you. Since I've had this Submariner, I haven't worn my Datejust or Explorer 2. I feel bad. I'm not sharing my love to all my watches.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I get you.
Okay, so what do you think, Arch? Should I be wearing it? I don't want to wear any others. I just want to wear the Bluesy. Is that normal? Do I need to see someone about my problem? I'm addicted to the Bluesy, Arch.
Oh no. That's fantastic. You've only just got it, but
And you know what I like to do? When I go to work, I like to wear a short sleeve shirt so every fucker there can see the Bluesy. Bluesy.
uh-huh. Bluesy. I don't think that's a problem, do you?
I don't think so. But I'm in the honeymoon stage and it's going to last forever. I love this watch, Arch. It's beautiful. When I go over to Malaysia, I'm going to be showing the Bluesy. The hookers are going to love it, Arch.
Ooh. Yes. I understand what you're saying there. I get you. Bluesy. Tell me this. You got the Bluesy now. Is that your favorite? Like you were saying, did you give the Datejust to your dad?
Well, he said he wouldn't wear it. He'd be worried and he'd just put it in the safe. I mean, fuck me dead, Arch. What sort of mentality is that? Wear it, ding it up, and that's it. So I think I don't know. I'm thinking about flicking that one off because realistically, I'm never going to wear that. I've got professional watches now. I'm not wearing a Datejust. You know this,
Yes.
bud?
No Datejust. No
I might
Datejust.
flick it, Arch.
Oh, you'd flick it?
Yeah, I might flick that fucker.
Flick the fucker. Fucker flicker. Flicker fucker. Fucker flicker. Fucker flicker. Flick the fucker. Flicker fucker. Flick the flucker flicker flucker.
Flick it, fucker. Flick flicker fucker. Yes. Arch, put up the next super chat, big boy.
We got a super chat from John C. John C, $2. Hey, Char, would you fire Arch? If so, how? If not, why not?
I'd fire Arch because I'd have to put him through a health surveillance, and you'd have to be a certain weight and certain BMI, and a certain amount of hair follicles on your head. So we'd have to see if Arch would pass that. It's a manual job. Arch, you're distracted. What are you doing? I need you engaged with the punters.
I got to tell you something. What happened as far as you got the black dial Explorer 2? The Datejust you gave to your dad?
No. I've still got it. He doesn't want it. He's not sure. I've still got it, Arch.
What do you mean he's not sure?
He doesn't think he'll wear it because he's scared about kind of wearing it and dinging it and this, that, and the other. Archie, very old school. He's come from nothing, and now he's affluent. So he still has that poor man's mentality. So he's worried about it.
Yes. I see what you're saying there. And tell me this: she got the 3. Does it keep you happy? Do you love the 3?
I could quite look, Arch. Lord hope not. But if somebody came and installed a date just, I wouldn't even be upset. The Explorer 2 and the Sub is me done for the moment. That's all I need, Arch. I only need the Bluesy. Dated 41. Since having professional watches, I couldn't care less about that watch.
Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Even the shoulders, Arch. The shoulders on the date just boring. They're sloped shoulders. I want big, thick, pronounced shoulders leading up to my wrist bone. You know this?
Yes. I see what you're saying. Jesus Christ, that's a tricky thing, isn't it?
I'm gonna flick the fucker.
Yeah, you're gonna flick the fickle fucker.
Yes, I'm gonna flick him. I gotta be honest, Arch. There are some real vicious punters in the chat. Why don't people like me? Be honest, Arch. Soul read me. Am I
So
really?
would you fire me? How would you fire me? Please, let's go through. Mr. Pluto, could you have a word? Why do they always say when they're firing you, could I just have a quick couple minutes? Could I just see you for 1 second? Could
No,
I
Arch,
just see you?
I wouldn't do it like that. I'd formally invite you because we've got employment law in the UK. I'd invite you to a disciplinary. Well, first off, I had an investigation because you've actually been caught photocopying your penis and distributing it around the office. So I do the investigation with you, suspend you with immediate effect, and invite you in for a disciplinary hearing. Possible outcomes being summary dismissal. There, I would show you the pictures of your little Archie. And say that Karen from marketing has said that you've sent this to her. We need to talk about this, Paul. I'd summarise the case and tell you what's going on, and then you're fired.
Can I ask you, what is the most ridiculous? What is the most terrible situation you've had to deal with?
Drug and alcohol testing. That's quite bad. When somebody, I do the random. Well, I organise. I don't do it. I organise the random drug and alcohol testing, and if somebody tests positive, we have to suspend them until the further lab results come back, and then if they're positive, we wave them goodbye. That's hard. That's soul destroying, that, Arch.
Oh, I see. What sort of drugs have you found in people?
Cocaine.
Oh, I thought cocaine leaves the system within a very short amount of times.
Apparently not, big boy.
Apparently not. I thought it leaves the system within 2 days. It's gone.
Apparently not, big boy.
Fuck. Are you sure?
Yes.
Cocaine doesn't leave the... So, fuck, what sort of tests do you do there?
Drug and alcohol testing, Arch. Due to the nature of the job. You can't be under the influence.
Fuck, I'm just sending a link to Mike the Snake. He wants to jump on with us. He's a good snake. That's a good snake. He just texted me. Fuck. Marijuana? Is that tested as well?
Everything, Arch. Everything. You can't do it where I work.
Hi, Archie.
Hey, weed?
Hi, Michael. Yeah, everything.
Hello. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm actually I was actually just talking with my brother, and when I take a step back and look at how everything is right now, things are great. I'm happy, and I don't have very much to moan about, and I've got a loving family, and I've got a roommate. I'm not lonely in my house anymore.
Have you seen the roommate naked?
No.
Oh, boring.
I'm not. Come on. But along those kind of joking lines, I found something for Mark that I thought would be perfect for him.
Mm.
It's this stuff here.
Old Spice.
Swagger gel.
Mm.
I thought that would be good for Mark. Don't you think? Or maybe me. I've got a lot of swagger.
I agree, especially in the Panerai. Oh wait, did that
Yeah.
burn down in the fire or not? I can't remember.
No, it didn't burn, but I had to get rid of it because of the fires.
Then I thought you said it did burn down, and that's what Saad
No,
was.
no.
No,
That's the whole big running joke that is never going to die. When Archie was asking me one of the first days I was on the show, I told my life story about the fires, and he said, "Did the Pantera burn too, or did you?" He asked, "Did you lose the Panteras in the fires?" And I thought about it for a second, and you'll see if you watch it again. I actually hesitate
You
because
know what, Mike?
I'm like,
Mike,
how do I
these guys
answer
here,
that?
they try and trap you on anything. They honestly don't give a shit,
I know.
okay,
All
Mike,
right.
be honest. No,
right?
Mike. Did you misspeak? Did you
And
misspeak?
it's like this. When they do a movie, they take poetic license. Not everything is exactly factual because
Yeah.
they don't have time, and it
Oh,
doesn't really matter. And this doesn't really matter either.
it
But
doesn't.
Did,
It doesn't.
did
You're
you,
right.
like
Mike?
say
Did
it
you
matters
misspeak?
because
Look, Mike, did you
like
misspeak? It's important. I need to know.
Yes.
Okay, all right, fine. I just needed to well out because
And later on,
it's
I
been
cleared it
bugging
up.
me. It's been bugging me
Later
for
on,
months. Mike, I haven't been sleeping. I've been thinking about whether or not it burnt down, if you've lied or not. It's really been
yeah,
bugging me. So thank you for giving me closure on that, Mike.
good. I'm glad. I hope you sleep better. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, I will.
So, what were we talking about?
We were talking about what I do as a job. People are getting fired for. Mike, you don't really have employment law really in the US, do you? As much
Don't have what?
employment law.
Employment law? What did you say?
Yes. Employment law.
I don't understand what that is. I don't know what you. I'm glad you find it funny. I don't know.
We got a super chat here. John C, $2. Mike the Snake, have you been with a chick younger than your 930?
My 930.
The 930 is not that old. That's 1980. That's only that's a pretty young car.
That'd be 45. Yes, I've been. In fact, I've never. My last girlfriend was 8 years younger than me.
She was 8 years old.
8 years younger than me.
Ah, okay. I see. Archie, got another super chat.
Here we go there. We've got a super chat from Jefferson Exotic. HR tests positive for money grubbing. That's how he got the Bluesy. Yes.
Well, hold on. Hold on. Out of everybody on the panel, Jefferson, you're accusing me of money grabbing. Me?
Yeah.
And it all went silent. I see. I understand. So, Mike, is there a lot of US employment law, or maybe you guys call it labor law? Labor law.
Again, I'm not. I don't really know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
have you had a job before, like ever?
Of course, yes.
So
I'm employed now.
Do you know about the laws around hiring, firing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's just I owned a bicycle shop many years ago. That you do what you are supposed to do. And you pay your taxes on what you earn, and as far as labor laws go like that, yeah. When I was an employer, I filled out all the forms and paid all the money I was supposed to pay, employer taxes, and taxes on my income from the shop, and yeah. So to
So,
answer your
so if you
question, yes.
so if you don't
Sure.
call it employment law or labour law, what do you call it?
I don't know what they call it, but
Ah,
I just know, if you open a business, there's certain forms that have to be filled out, and you call it whatever you want. Employment law, labor law.
hey man, we got some labour law, man. Hey man, yeehaw.
Yeah, you're really enthusing me today.
Yeah, that's what we need, Mike. I need you up. I need to talk about the Pantera. I need to talk about the Porsche 920/30 thing. We need talking about it,
Yeah.
Mike.
No, that's okay. We should talk about maybe Mercedes, or
The perfect
Jaguar.
one and done Mercedes is the Mercedes GLE 450D. Let's go, baby.
M2
Okay, we got a super
Carlino in the
chat. Yeah,
chat.
I got a super chat. Just quickly, let me catch up on this. Good question from William Gaudrian. €2. Do you clean your watch after wearing it, Arch? Actually, that's a very good question. What I tend to do is, okay, so a lot of these watches here, I normally will wear them for a period. If I am wearing them again and again, I will use a cloth to wipe them down. I do that, yes. If it is a waterproof watch like the Bluesy, I will occasionally rinse it under the tap to get sweat and that out of it. Obviously, if it's got a leather strap, you don't want to do that because you will upset the leather strap. On that sort of watch, I normally use a damp cloth, like a face cloth, damp cloth, not super wet, just damp, to rub it over, and then I go over it with a soft terry towel.
Microfiber cloth.
Now, sometimes I'll even, if it's a little bit grotty, if I want to take photos of the watch, I'll even remove the strap, the leather strap or the bracelet. Well, leather strap, and get it really nice clean in there. But I, generally speaking, after I wear it, no, I basically take it off. I've got a little, on my bedside table, I've got a little square I put my watch into, which actually has a cloth, a cleaning cloth in it there. I put it into that. I don't wear my watch when I sleep. I put it next to my table. And I got to tell you, I generally speaking, with these things like watches and that there, I generally speaking don't like to wash it too much. I think you can do it too much if you wash it all the time. But I got to tell you, at the moment, what I normally do is with watches, I normally have a couple. At the moment, I've actually got to go. I'm going overseas. It's a long story. I already bought this ticket months and months ago. I didn't realize I had it, but I got a ticket to Hong Kong, and I've got to take the Breguet in to get a new strap. They ordered a strap in, and I don't want to fuck them over because they got the strap in. Just I'd get the strap. I only got two, but normally, yeah, I don't keep all of them at home, but I do like to. I got to be honest with you. If I did cut down in watches, let me say this to you, HR man, a Bluesy, an Explorer 2, and a third watch, I'd have to say would be the one I really do love is the Speedy, Amiga Speedy. You're not a Speedy man. I get it. You don't like.
No, Arch. How am I supposed to get in the sauna? How am I supposed to be in the jacuzzi? The speed is not waterproof, there, big boy.
No, but it's iconic. It's a classic. There's something beautiful about a manual wind watch. Like I love automatic Rolex. But I've got to tell you, there is something really special about a manual wind watch.
I got to be honest. I would hate the idea every morning I have to pitch around and wind it.
Oh no,
That
but that's
sounds like a
part of the
nightmare.
charm. that is actually part of the fun with it, because you wind your watch up. That's really so cool. It's very cool. That is,
I loved my hand winders.
yeah. I actually, Mike. And there's nothing more I love. I love a watch with no date, because I don't.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, I am actually thinking of having a sea change in the not too distant future. Okay, let me tell you what I'm thinking of doing. Okay, I wouldn't mind living overseas for 3 to 6 months. Okay. Well, maybe 1 to 2 to 3 months. Okay, let's not get too carried away. And I would really like to. I think that the watches that mean the most to me. You know what means the most to me, HR man?
Tell me.
Bluesy and Explorer 2. I think that's it.
Ooh,
No, I'm
very
serious.
nice.
I think, and they're not hype. Well, a little bit hype, semi-hype.
Arch, let me point the
Let me
thing out.
catch up. I got another super chat. John C, $2. Mike the Snake, wristwatch check. Tell us what's for dinner. Yes, Mike.
Mike, turn the camera back on.
Orange Monster.
Ooh.
And, ham and potatoes for dinner tonight.
Nice. Hello, Jay Anthony. How are you today?
I heard somebody talking trash about Speedmaster, so I decided to say hi.
Hey, what do you think of a Speedmaster? I think when you've got a couple Rolexes, there's nothing better than having a manual wind watch with no date. You just set it, wind it, off you go. I think it's.
I hate them. Obviously, I think they're terrible watches. Would never own one.
You know,
I love my Speedmaster. I love winding it every morning when I'm wearing it.
Jay
It's
Anthony.
romantic. Yeah.
I'm considering a bit of a sea change in the future. I was actually thinking of taking a 1 to 3 month rest, go overseas somewhere. And I would say to you, I am really like what watches really, what means the most to me: Explorer 2, Bluesy, Speedy. And if you wanted to go for a fourth watch, I dare say the Open Heart El Primero I've got. And the gold stuff, the gold stuff I've got, I'd possibly want to flick all of that.
You had me at Asia, or do you want to go in Asia? I agree on this part too, but I'm even more curious about the Asian part.
Look, I would say Thailand is good, but it's not cheap anymore. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
It's changed. I like Vietnam. I like China. China's a lot to explore in China. Quite reasonable. China is very reasonable. We've got Eddie join. Eddie, just be careful with your back feed from the microphone, man. We'll just mute him for a little bit there. Got a little bit of noise coming through. I got to tell you, I would seriously say anywhere there is just good to get away from. It's too loud. We're trying to mute him because it's noisy. I've got to tell you, the honest truth is, I sometimes look at things, Jay Anthony, and I realize if I got rid of some of my watches, reduce some debt, I could go and live somewhere for 3 months. Just take it easy. I think that'd do me I think it'd be incredible time, I think it'd be amazing to do that. Just takes time. I'm going to just take him off. If you're not going to play by the games, you're noisy. I've got back feed. I'm conducting an interview. It's annoying. Let me say this to you, Jay Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you look at your life and you think, what the fuck are you? You're a cog in the machine, right? Sometimes if you simplify your life, I like Lotus to increase speed,
Reduce weight.
weight. Well, for happiness, take out complexity. Take out, and sometimes you have HELOC. The HELOC is actually, I'm not anti-HELOC because it gives me freedom. Okay, it gives me access to tied up equity, which I want. I want access to equity. Okay, that's my choice. Dave Ramsey would cuss me out, but one thing that Dave Ramsey and pay for cash thinking doesn't realize is what happens to the person who never gets it, never has the nice car. They don't make it that far. Financing allows people to buy things they can't afford and enjoy now. That's what financing is. Financing is for people who can't afford to pay cash. It lets them enjoy the assets now, which they could never afford in the first place. Is that a good or bad thing? Well, you be the judge. It's a bad thing if it destroys your life, but it's a good thing if you got to enjoy things that you would never be otherwise able to enjoy.
I'm going to focus on the parts of what you said that I think are beautiful and let the rest of it go and say live and let live. Respect.
Yeah.
I think what you said is very meaningful about letting some of the stuff that weighs you down go and going and living life for a bit. I would be very happy for you if you went and took 3 months and just had some time to live your life. I gather, especially this year, you've been doing a lot of serious shit, and it would be nice for you to go have a moment to yourself and enjoy your life.
J. Anthony, you are dealing with your pontiff right now. And here's what that means. You have to stand up to this man. You can't let him just baloney you into the HELOC is okay. It doesn't work that way. J. Anthony, let me tell you something about Archie. Archie does not respect the mealy mouth man who goes, yeah, get your HELOC. You got to tell him, you're crazy. Archie, I watched you burn your Visa cards on Freedom Day in your barbecue. You threw another shrimp on the Barbie right in the backyard. It was the happiest day of your life. What happened? How did it all go pear-shaped from there? You were debt-free.
I don't think credit cards are a bad thing. I think the problem is if you can't pay the month, you can't pay them off in full each month, that shows you've got an income and a spending problem.
Yeah,
You're not earning enough.
Why did you burn them? You burned them. You set fire to them. You put lighter fluid on them.
I did. I gotta tell you, I have changed some of my thinkings. Okay, some of my thinkings have changed dramatically, and in all honesty, J. Anthony, in all honesty,
Mike,
I do think that
Mike,
it's beautiful. I think sometimes you've got to enjoy your life. You've got to do things outside the square. We've got another super chat. Sorry. We've got Little Dave, $2. What's the best brand instant detailer? What's the best brand instant detailer? I think the best, I'll go and get it. Do you want me to go and get it? It's McGuire's Quick Wax. I'll go and show you my waxes. Do you want to see my waxes? I'll get you my waxes. I will get you my waxes. Do you want to see the waxes?
Get the waxes. Okay, get it. Get the waxes.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, what?
I found something. I found something for you. I thought when I saw this, I thought of you, and I got it.
Well, now I'm afraid, Mike. I'm very afraid. Old Spice. What? Swagger gel.
Swagger gel.
Did you buy that? Were you in a Walgreens? Like, where do you actually buy? Like CVS maybe sells that.
I think it was Walgreens.
Yeah. See, actually, okay. To truth be known, I'm pretty sure I have some Old Spice stick deodorant upstairs. But Anthony, you never heard of it. You don't know what we're talking about with the high karate, and the Mambo cologne right now. But
I am familiar with Old Spice, believe it or not.
Yeah, because of your grandfather, maybe. So, Mike, whatever wax Archie brings out, tell him it's the worst wax and tell him it was recalled because it's got grit and sand in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the word.
What's that?
I'm expecting the baby oil from P. Diddy's house or McGuire's.
Here we go. So what I always carry in my car is this. I always carry.
Yes, Quick Wax. I have it too.
What I
Oh,
use
yeah.
this for is I always have this in the car, in the trunk. In Australia we call it a boot, but you Americans call it a trunk. I always keep this in the trunk. Now, what happens? I keep this quick wax for if a bird shits on the car or it gets some sort of stain. You don't want to just wipe it off because you will scratch the paint. You want to spray it with quick wax and then you wipe it off.
I keep it in the nightstand.
I've got a whole stack of microfiber towels in the back of the car. So that's a very good product. Okay, another product I use
Wick wax
is Quick Detailer.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very similar product. This actually came with the clay bar kit. So after you've washed your car, you spray the car. So basically, lubrication is such an important thing if you're polishing a vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Lubrication. Okay.
Mark can attest.
So this here, and this is actually a good product. Let me give you another example. Say, actually, both of these products are good products. Say the car got a little bit wet. You've cleaned it and it just got a little bit wet. You can very easily spray this on the wet surface and use a microfiber towel to take it off, because you don't want to use a microfiber towel with no spray on it because you will actually scratch. The contaminants will scratch the surface. So this is like a lubricant to take that off, and then you can dry it with a Maguire's. I'll get my Maguire's approved cloth. If you super chat, I will show you my Maguire's approved cloth. So that's that there.
I use a Cape Cod cloth to wipe.
I've been experimenting with waxes. Okay.
Wax.
So I used to use Canuba wax. You know Canuba.
Carnauba.
Yeah.
I'm actually just trying. This is actually a synthetic wax. Okay. This is actually a synthetic wax. And this wax here, this is actually, I've been using, this is called liquid wax, Maguire's liquid wax. Now, this wax here is a hydrophobic polymer technology it uses. So I've used this as a wax instead of Canuba. Yeah, it's actually, this is a really nice wax to use. So that's a good wax. That's if you want to do a wax job. You use this wax. That's after you've cleaned it, clay barred it, you then do a waxing. So that is kind of that answers the best detailer. We got Herman Ingram, $2. Talk about the general theory of relativity, Mike.
The theory of relativity is that you are relatively funny.
Yes, that's it, Mikey. You hit it on the head. And
it's hard to pronounce. Archie, I found this stuff called ice. It's like your Maguire's spray wax that I like to use. It's clear, spray it on, wipe it off till it dries, and you're done. And I used to not use it on my airplane because it was just, didn't put a heavy layer of wax on, and it was really easy to use. It's basically the same thing as your Maguire's stuff.
Archie, this is the most excited I've seen you about any topic on the stream for like the last week.
Yes, thank you. So the waxes, I like waxes, wenching and waxes. Yes. Tell me what you think. What do you think?
I have the same products in my garage. I agree with you.
GB20 Mex, Colonite 840 is the best wax. Pull it up, Arch. Colonite 840. What? I never heard of this. Have you heard of this before?
No.
I wanted to ask you something, Jay Anthony, now that you're on the stream.
Yes, sir. I came on to kick off HR, but he just left when I jumped on.
I must say, I've never actually seen this Colonite 840, but it seems to be a fair income product. Let's bring it up on the screen. Just a wax, okay. Never used it before, but it sounds. I don't know anything about it, but thank you, GB. I wanted to
Archie.
ask you something. What do you think the best limousine type car at the moment? My recommendation for Yankee Doodle yesterday, I think the BMW 530i, not the current model, the previous shape. I think this would be a really nice limousine type car. What do you think? Please, Jay Anthony, you're a Beamer man. Would you agree with me or you don't agree? This is the car. What do you think?
So I have to go to my corporate hat. What are the robust KPIs and CTQs of the vehicle? What's my price range and what it needs to do? I think the car.
You want something like because I said the E-Class. I think that's a bit of a. I don't think the Mercedes is up to it. I'd say this with the B48 or the B58 engine, that's a good car to get.
I agree with you. The last 5 Series is better than the current one. I don't know what happened to the current one. It looks like
the current one's also electric. It's high. Oh, where's Mark gone? Mark, are you still there? We don't lose you, Mark.
he's playing.
Mark, where's he gone? Let me say this to you. The current 5 Series, right? Let me just ask you this, okay? Back me up on this. Realistically, I want to ask you something. So, say you're buying a BMW, right? Like, if I want to sell my car off, and it says full BMW service history. Now that means they've changed the oil 15,000 mile intervals. If I was if I had my one for sale and I said full BMW service history plus additional oil changes every 6,000 miles, boom, 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 boom,
boom,
would that appeal to you more or not? How would you feel about that?
I mean, the answer is yes, but you and I are not the norm. Let's be realistic. Most people that buy a secondhand BMW know absolutely nothing about cars. They're financing it on a 7-year note. They can barely afford it. It's 40 or 50% of their take-home income, and they're buying it at the dealer because they trust the dealer, and they're going to get screwed.
What do you think about leasing?
I think leasing is a terrible way you're basically renting a car, and I think leasing is awful.
Let's just back the truck up there now, please. Leasing allows people who could not otherwise afford such a vehicle to enjoy future success. It allows them to enjoy future success today.
This is what's wrong with my country right now. A bunch of people that don't want to put in the effort to think they deserve shit because they're special. I'm sorry. It should be motivation for you to try harder in life and do other things. I agree with you. The last generation BMW is the better car than the current one. I honestly, if I was gonna get over the German cars are unreliable and I don't want one without a warranty, I would actually get a E series wagon of the last generation. So
yeah, I don't even like the way all of the new cars construction is. You know, with the crumple zone and the all plastic front end and infrastructure. You know, even the smallest hit in front just breaks so much stuff. You know, behind the plastic fender. The way the front end is one big.
Here. There's no plastic. That's a metal fender, and there's a plastic bumper.
That whole front end comes off with little plastic push pins, and you can pull it off in about 5 minutes, and have the whole front end of that car, grill and all, sitting next to the car in about 5 minutes with a butter knife.
Well, and I want to say something, right? So I would say 2 things. One is I have built everything that I have now making minimum wage. I used to make $5 an hour as a 12-year-old, and I bought my first Rolex and my first car making minimum wage on my own with zero assistance.
Nice.
So when people tell me they can't do this stuff, I struggle with that whatsoever. I've gotten zero financial help from my family. And I built everything I have on my own. And in corporate America, where I've spent the last 14 years, I've come to see that about 80% of people basically phone it in and show up and sit in their desk all day, but don't really go above and beyond. And I've seen lots of people that get ahead, bust their ass, and add something beyond just showing up and having their physical presence at a desk chair. And I've seen people with no college degrees go very far just by busting their ass. I think people struggle with patience, but I definitely think with patience, you can get what you want at a young age and not have to worry about the bills coming in. I also don't think that cars or any of this shit is really necessary for life. And there are very happy people that don't have any of this junk that are very content.
Same with watches.
Same with watches. I can be just as happy with my 1863 Seagull as I can with my 1863 Speedmaster.
Here, here, absolutely.
Well said.
Hey, and Herman's the guy who always gives me the most shit advice.
No, it's good advice. It's good advice. You just don't like it.
Herman gives me the most shit advice. Angry man. If I want to be an angry man like you, Herman, you tell me sell the watches, pay for a trip, do this, do that.
I'm not angry.
Herman,
I'm not
why
angry. I'm
don't
just
you
talking
look at
sense.
your-
I'm just talking sense.
Okay.
Common sense, baby. Common sense.
How was the cruise?
Fabulous. It was fabulous.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
Alaska, baby.
Nice.
I went a couple of years ago on NCL. Who'd you take?
Princess.
How was it?
It was great. The weather wasn't ideal, but you know that's the way it goes. But it was beautiful. It's a beautiful place. I'd like to live there if it wasn't so damn dark most of the time.
Juneau, Ketchikan, Skagway. Where'd you go?
Yeah, all those places. Also, the Glacier Bay.
Marky,
Yes, beautiful.
Marky, would you ever buy a? What you need to do is, Marky, is have a look car to look good in. Would you ever buy yourself a sedan
I had a Porsche.
for
two.
Sunday driving? You know, just keep it garaged and.
No, you know my cars don't garage. They live outside like bad little boys. I had two Porsches. I liked them, but I didn't love them.
Yeah.
I like the stinking Lincoln.
You know,
But-
I want to say something to you. When I was a kid, Jay Anthony, I wanted to have two W123s, one to drive and one to put in the lounge room and just admire.
You're a real car guy. I hear you. They're
And
beautiful
a
things.
sedan. I wanted a sedan, a 230E.
Archie, when I was
How I feel about the W126 560 SEC coupes. I could literally look at that car all day and not get sick of it.
when
Yeah.
I was 18 to 19, I built my first car. It was a 66 Corvair Corsa, and I put a 327 V8 in the back seat and made a mid-engine car out of it. Because they normally have the engines in the back, like a Porsche. In fact, the engines were developed in conjunction with Porsche. Porsche helped
So
to
whatever
design the
happened to
Corvair
this
engine.
car? What happened to it? You raced it? What happened? So you
Yeah,
you-
I built it as an autocross car. I had a set of slicks that I put on it, and I autocrossed it. And then I also drove it on the street and tore it up on the street. Had a lot of fun for many years. And then when I started going to college, I sold it off. It kept popping trannies.
I
The
gotta ask you
transmissions were
something.
very
Rolex
brittle.
bargains. What do you think's a bargain? Let's start with Marky. Marky, the dog trainer. What? Oh, he's fallen off. Jay Anthony, what's a bargain in Rolex?
I still think the Explorer 2 is a bit underappreciated, to be honest with you. The 36 mil pieces in general are also, I think, underappreciated. Everybody wants the 41 millimeter pieces for sure. And if we're talking about non-stainless steel, I think all the two-tones are massively underpriced right now compared to the equivalents. And the solid gold pieces too, I think they have terrible depreciation, which is good secondhand. To me, anything that's not a stainless steel 40 millimeter sports watch outside the Explorer 2 is decent value used, unless it's a special dial. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I think the some of the yacht masters can be good value. The older yacht masters.
I agree. I agree.
Love
I
that
think
watch.
I think even the 42 mil Explorer 2, the bigger size, is also a relative bargain there. They're because that's
Regatta-
42 mil. They're
the
42
Regatta
mil.
one you're talking about?
Sorry.
The regatta one, sorry, the regatta timer one you're talking
I'm
about?
doing Explorer 2, Explorer 2.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
42, you know, the bigger size, the newer, because it didn't have a ceramic bezel, but they upgraded it to 42 mil. I think they're a absolute. I got to tell you something. What I think is actually, I am actually looking at going into a planned retirement with watches. Okay, planned retirement. And what I want to do is really think about, I want to enjoy my watches for a while and then really look at them and say, what do I really want to do? What do I want to, what would I need? And unfortunately, Jay Anthony, I probably would sell the Patek, the World Time, because it's a lot of money. See, that would allow me, basically, the price of that World Time would allow me to live 1 to 2 years overseas. You know what I mean? Like, what would you rather have? The freedom of a 2-year experience, or do you want, and this is a very tricky thing. It is a very it's a hard decision to make. However, in my case there, I really think I would I really do think that I would enjoy that. I think that'd be a great, if I could bite the bullet and say, right, I'm going to do this. This would be great for me. I've had responsibilities. Finally, the children are getting to an age where the youngest is turning 18. So I do have some options to do some things. And I'm at an age where I'm in my early 50s. I'm young enough to still enjoy that. If you leave it too long, it's too late. If you leave until you're 70, then you can't walk properly, or you've got certain problems. It becomes a disaster. So I would really love to take advantage of that. I really would like to take advantage of that. It's easier said than done. Easier said than done. So that's kind of what I would like to do. That's what I would like to do. And I got to tell you something, Jay Anthony. The watches themselves, there, that you can. The sad thing is, with the market falling, is it's not as easy to get out of. The liquidity of these things is not as good now. And that is a sad thing, but hey, that is always how life is. Life is never. We had Marky on. What happened to Marky there? We had some really interesting discussions there. As far as cars go, I think the best value mid-size luxury sedan would be the previous 5 Series. Either the 530 with the 2-liter 4-cylinder, or the 6-cylinder turbo, the 540.
Так подожди, BMW перевернулась, и что было, и куда он, и потом, что менты пришли.
The car I would pick, honestly, is a car I used to own.
Роберт, а он что, он не был seatbelt?
Yes.
We can meet our little friend here. So I used to have one, and now my father drives one. I had a GS 350 Lexus F Sport. They don't make them anymore. Front engine, V6, rear wheel drive, bulletproof reliability.
You know what? I don't understand. Why did they get rid of the GS? The ES is basically a Camry.
I know. I don't get it either.
Why do you get rid of the GS? It was rear wheel. See, you know what stopped me buying a Lexus? Can I tell you what stopped me buying a Lexus? I actually wanted to buy a Lexus.
Which one do you want? I know you looked at an IS, right?
An IS 250 or a 350. And they had stopped that model in Australia. So the next model was the ES 250. Yeah. And the problem is it's front wheel drive. It's not rear wheel drive. So you don't have that driving dynamic. I wanted a driver's car. Do you understand?
Completely.
And I had a fight with the Lexus salesman. He tells me people don't want sedans anymore. They want SUVs. And I said, he was a dick. He's a dick. Why would you argue with a customer who wants to buy? Just say, I agree with you, but what can I just agree with me? But he wanted to be a dick and told me everyone wants SUVs. See, SUVs if you look at physics, the center of gravity is never that great.
You and I, just to be clear, I like SUVs a lot, and I hear why you don't. Have you ever driven a full body on frame SUV that's rear or 4-wheel drive, like a Cadillac Escalade or a Tahoe, or even like a traditional German truck, like a GP Wrangler?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. Without the software, it would.
Well, I was going to say, to me, they have a charm to them that's very much the way a real drive car does. Now, I grant you 99% of the shit boxes they make today, which are car architecture with a fat body stuck on top that are front wheel drive, I hate those things with a passion. They drive worse than the ES you're talking about. But to me, a proper ladder frame truck is comical to drive. It drives like an old car. It has charm to it. I think you'd like it. I really do. And you can put a bunch of crap in the back, like more furniture that we don't need. But to your point, they're yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened to cars. I don't get why they're not a thing anymore. I share your sentiment. Now they're all fat safety cages with turbo hybrid powertrains and CVTs, and it breaks my heart.
Yep.
I mean,
I definitely do not like the direction that cars are going.
I totally agree. I wish my BMW had a 6 than a bloody hairdryer 4.
I know you do. I would do for you.
And the problem is the model above it was more expensive, but it's also all-wheel drive. I didn't really want an all-wheel drive. I wanted the rear, because all-wheel drive is a different driving dynamic to rear-wheel drive. I think rear-wheel drive is the most, as long as you're not being a dickhead, the most fun you can really have there. Is, you know, it's sort of there was actually, I was watching some videos last night on YouTube, BMW stupid accidents that people, they just,
I love that shit.
I think if you treat your car like shit, it really will have, BMWs are not that, they're not made to be abused, I don't think.
The older ones handle it pretty well. The newer ones, you would know more than me.
You know, I had an E30, it had cheap, crappy plastics in it. It wasn't that legendary. You know what I'm saying or not? Like,
transparently, that's one of those cars that everybody I know loves, and I've just never loved it. And I've driven them; they're fine. I think the E36 is a better car, and I think the E46 is a better car than the E32. They're iconic shaped. I mean, that boxy design, I get why people like it, but as a driving experience, to me, it's fine.
We've got a super chat from Amazing Air Show Videos, $2. Arch, thanks for all the fun stream. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Bargain Rolexes now. Now, the truth is, what do you think? If you went to your AD, the reason I carry a credit card is in case the AD says you can have a Steel Sports. Would you buy, if the AD offered you a Steel Sports, would you buy it, Jay Anthony?
All day long. If I could get it at retail and I have to buy 20 grand in stupid jewelry to buy it, yeah, it's a no-brainer. But my dealers where I live want me to buy Norcane watches and limited edition quartz diamond models that nobody wants from brands nobody's ever heard of to get on the wait list.
Yeah. Hey, let me go and put this stuff. This is annoying me. I want to put my wax away so I don't forget it. So a bit of quick wax and detailer. I always carry that with me in the car. You know, a bit of wax.
You're right about the bird poop too and stuff. I'm glad you told people that. And so many people just try to rub it off and scratch the crap out of their paint. People need to know about that.
Yes. Yes. Otherwise, if you haven't got wax with you, you can hose it off. You've got access to a hose it off without any rubbing. But that's I'm gonna put this away. Let me put this back in the vehicle. I like to keep this stuff where it should be so I don't lose it. Let me put it back in the vehicle.
His timing is impeccable.
Well, this is exciting.
Yeah, totally.
This has been an interesting stream so far. Are you having fun, Mikey?
Yeah. I'm missing some of the super chats, but I always enjoy the car talk, and I'll always fall right into it. But what brings in more super chats is watch talk, for sure.
Let's talk about Rolex. Let's talk about one and done. What's your one and done, Mike? What's your one and done? The Bluesy? The Bluesy?
No. It would probably be a 41 millimeter sub or a James Cameron.
Some Mariners are great. They have a bracelet and they got a bezel. They're really cool, you know.
Yeah. All that good stuff.
Yeah.
No date 41. That would be my one and done. Just because I'm a sports watch guy, and I don't need the date, so a simple 3-hander is what would be best for me. So, and the James Cameron has a date and would be my second watch that I get after the 41. But if I only had one to get forever and ever, it'd be the 41. No date.
What a great way to go.
Timex Quartz would be my one and done.
Timex Quartz.
Because watches are stupid. They're fucking stupid. Maybe 100 years ago they were necessary, but nowadays they're just for schmucks to show off, you know.
Why are you on this stream? What drew you here? What topic did they lure you in with? Tell me more.
Well, Archie put a video of Yujia Wang, Chinese piano scam. That's what drew me into this place ultimately. But he took it down. He took the video down.
I actually quite like her now.
Yeah, she's whack.
Look, it's hard to become a classical artist that becomes famous, you know? That's a very...
No, she has the Chinese machine behind her. You know, she's backed up by China. There's a lot of people better than her. They don't get nearly the number of engagements that she does. It's a shame. It's a shame. But, you know, the whole world is a shame at this point. Harris is about to become president of the United States. My God. God help us all.
Yeah.
Wow, this is getting depressing.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. Let's talk about Rolex.
Rolex,
Steel Sports.
No matter who wins.
Steel Sports.
I don't think either one of them should be president. If you want my real opinion, I think they both suck.
Agreed.
I know. I think really.
But isn't it always a choice between the lesser of two evils? Isn't it always a choice between a turd sandwich and a giant douche? It pretty much always is.
We had Reagan versus Mondale, so that that dispels that notion.
I just like them both strongly.
Okay. Reagan.
What do you dislike about Trump?
How much time do you have, and how much hate mail am I up to get?
Just the first thing that comes to mind. First thing that comes to mind.
Ego. His ego.
I'm talking to Jay Anthony.
Every time I've heard him talk uninterrupted, unfiltered by some news crew, which the media screws up, whatever. I take everything in context. Just listening to him talk, I think he's a fucking idiot. And I will tell you why. One is I think he's easily manipulated and flattered. The people that he looks up into the world are people that I think know how to flatter him and kiss his ass. He seems very susceptible to just being told how great he is. He never admits when he's wrong. He never directly answers a question. He's consistently filed for bankruptcy. He's a convicted felon. And
what about his policies? Forget all that nonsense. What about his policies? Are you against closing the border? Securing the border?
I live in Texas, but so here's and again, I think you'd be surprised I'm actually voting for. But let's separate. I'm talking about the candidate level. I'm a libertarian. I don't mind talking about it. I'm dead in the middle. I'm like, you do whatever the fuck you want as long as it doesn't impact anybody else negatively, but don't make me pay for it. That's my philosophy. Okay, whatever you do in your home is your job.
Away from this politics there. Politics is just, I think we've got to look at the politics. What watch does Kamala Harris wear?
Yeah, let's talk about best one and done. 3-piece hunger bucket.
I want the Trump Tourbillon as my next watch. Why are we moving away from this?
Wasn't it only 300 grand?
No politician is perfect. I mean, nobody's Jesus Christ. So you got to accept the bad with the good. You got to take the better of the, of the two options. And Trump wants energy. He wants, nuclear energy. Why don't we have nuclear energy, for crying out loud? Although environmentalists say it's bad for the planet, it's the best thing for human civilization. Nuclear energy, baby. Nuclear energy.
I agree with you. Nuclear energy is underutilized.
Absolutely.
The only problem is when these nuclear stations are built by the Russians, where they take shortcuts and don't have safety. And even in Japan, look at Japan, you would say Japan is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the company was too ashamed to say, we need fucking power immediately, or else they kept their mouth shut. It was a total disaster. And I think the problem with nuclear is you've got some pretty nasty consequences if it goes bad.
Well, it has gone bad multiple times. But I think even if you add all that up and compare it to any of the other forms of energy that we have other than solar, they do so much more damage. Like, yeah.
Rolex bargains. What are you buying, Herman? You've got rid of your Chopard. What are you buying? You said you wanted to buy a Rolex.
No, well, maybe one day I'll buy a Rolex where I can afford it. It should be like 0.5% of your net worth in your watches at most. Well, then he's fucking up the accordion. 1515.
Okay, Eddie, that's enough for the moment. We'll get you to play something soon. Requests taken. I gotta tell you, Jay Anthony, as a millionaire.
Mm-hmm. I tell people that.
What key EDC makes you stand out from the rest of the pack?
I can't hear you over this fucking accordion. Sorry, what?
What key EDC? What's 5 key EDC pieces make you stand out from the other people in the pack as a millionaire?
I don't, as a millionaire, which A, I don't even like talking about, but B, I don't want to stand out from the pack. The people that stand out from the pack are targets or they're broke. I want people to walk by me and never notice me in front of them. So
tell me this. Susie Orman said $2 million is nothing.
Well, it's coming from her. I'm sure she feels that way.
That's true. Most people are worth $1 million. Most people in the.
Oh, what's Herman saying? Come on, Herman. I can't hear you. You got the most terrible microphone. I think maybe jump on again.
Okay.
Hello, Herman. He's gonna jump back on again. I gotta tell you, what do you find yourself there? You know a lot of millionaires yourself. How do most people become millionaires? You know how most people... Inflation! It's pushed people into that stratosphere.
So I'll tell you a true story. I was at Chase Private Bank 2 weeks ago, which to be a member, you have to have $10 million in the bank. I was an invited guest. I'm not saying I'm a member there. I'm not.
Yeah.
The people in that room... on the low end, to be in that room, by and large, have at least $10 million invested in JP Morgan alone, not their total net worth.
Yeah.
Unless I told you the net worths of the people in that room, you would never believe any of those people were who they were. And that to me is and that's the thing. I think they did a study on the demographics of who would buy a lot of luxury items, at least in America. They're all lower middle class. The people that I know that are wealthiest are the people that are wearing shorts and t-shirts, and you would never pick them out of a crowd.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you've met a lot of wealthy people through this. Are they people you would notice otherwise?
I think you do get a bit of a mix, particularly in my circle. People who like watches, they tend to be a bit more flamboyant. But the reality is, you're very true, very true. You can't judge people. You can't judge a book by its cover. You can't judge people. One of the most ridiculous things I find is, and I found this hilarious. So in my life, when I was very young, I bought a BMW. Okay. I was a little bit up myself. I thought my shit, you just think, and then you go through life and suddenly you fall on hard times or something happens, right? And I remember it's so fascinating the way you just don't, it's just the little subtle things. People actually, people judge so many people by stupid, superficial things. And in all honesty, most people who have fancy cars, I think honestly, I love my BMW, but let me say this to you, Jay Anthony, it is a serious wealth hazard.
Mm.
Okay, now you're looking at me. We had one family car for over 10 years. It was a Honda Civic, which is a very reliable, it was a very reliable car, very reliable. It was a reliable, good car. What can I say? But you know what? It was affordable, and it was very. People said, "Oh, how can you have a family with a Civic?" Well, it's all relative. You know, their expectation is you have a gas guzzling SUV. That's kind of what they think. I kind of think it's all relative. People have the wrong idea. I think cars, most families have two cars. That is a real waste of. You can just see the registration, because I got the BMW. We have two cars, and I've seen, oh shit, this is double registration, double insurance. And admittedly, with the BMW, I think it's a good idea with the BMW to have two cars, because you want to use it, savor that for good journeys, and then you have a beta for just going to the store and stuff like that. Otherwise, the BMW will really, how do I put it? You'll wear it out, and the tires are really everything. If you want to try and use it sparingly, you want to get bang per buck. You know what I'm saying? I'm not convinced the BMW is that really great in quality. I think it's I think it's kind of, it is nice, but look, I'll be honest with you. You're right. A lot of these things people buy I think the rich people do have watches. I don't think that's completely true, false.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the thing is now middle class, just through the act of inflation, like in my country, so we got a different currency. $1 Australian is 70 cents US.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, so your currency is 30% stronger, right? And so a house in Australia, $1 million, 900,000. My house is probably just under 900 Australian, right? For we're the third largest city, right? Which is, it's about 600,000 US. Okay, 600,000 US. So, but that's what a house costs in America and a lot of places, 600,000.
Yeah, where I live, 600,000 would get you a teardown.
There you go. So, you know, like that's kind of 600,000 is still a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I agree with you.
After tax, because it's not just 600,000, it's 600,000 after living costs and after tax. It's a fortune. But the thing is,
Can I add a little bit of a philosophical bend to this?
Please do. Add wisdom.
So speaking of my own journey and the people that I hang out with, which is obviously very biased, I think when you reach a point of financial comfort, you have more clarity on what actually matters to you, which is a gift. So when I was unable to afford things, they appealed to me that much more. A, because I couldn't have them, and B, because they spoke of success and I wanted people to recognize me as being successful. And so when I craved those things, I was in a different point in my life. What I've realized as I've gotten older and I have options is the stuff that I actually like usually isn't the most expensive stuff. And I actually like cheaper things and I like a humbler way of living, right? Like I made a distinct decision to have a Ford Bronco over a Land Rover Defender, and I like the Bronco better. I'm not saying it's a better car, but it's like I had the freedom of making a decision and I wasn't worried about the message that it sent. And I think there's a great freedom in that. I'd rather wear a t-shirt than a Burberry polo. But to me, you don't really get that freedom until you have the comfort of being able to pick what you want, but also when you're in a situation, you're not trying to prove yourself to everybody. And I think there's a fallacy that's sold to most people that you can buy your way to happiness, which I know people are going to argue there's truth to it. I'm not going to say you can't buy things that are nice. And I'm not going to say not having money is better, because clearly it is. There's healthcare and life cost and just burdens to deal with that it gives you a comfort. But to say that you're going to have a higher quality of life because you wear a Rolex versus a Timex, or you drive a BMW versus Subaru, is not inherently true. It depends on what you like or what you don't like. And I've actually liked houses that were a quarter of the price of the one I'm in now better than the one I'm in now. And there's cities in this country that are cheaper than where I live now that I much prefer if my job wasn't here. Right. So it's like, I think people equate just because something's more expensive, it's better, your lifestyle is better. I don't think that's a fact of life. I think that's bullshit. Unfortunately, us white people like expensive stuff just because we like it, which is where it gets complicated. Right.
Yes.
But I think that's my take. What do you think?
No, I totally agree with you. I think the most the funny thing is people make such judgments on the car you drive. That's such a stupid thing. That all that means is you've got good credit.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, all it means you were able to, and I get it, but I got to be honest with you. The funny thing is, you see these scammers, like you see the timepiece gentleman. What did he do? He lived in a flamboyant house. He had Lamborghini, Ferraris he was looking at. He wore solid gold AP, solid gold Rolex, John Mayer Daytona. It just doesn't smell right. It's just so much bullshit there. He lives that life.
Doesn't that scream insecurity to you? When you look at people like that, aren't you like, what are you compensating for? Why are you so insecure? I mean, that's what I think when I see these people, unless it's like Miami where it's cultural.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying. It's crazy. It's crazy. That the funny thing is real estate agents are so judgmental. They have leased cars. They're not even, they don't even own the stock they're selling. They're basically selling it on consignment. And they're sometimes they can be the most judgmental. You think, fucking hell, a leased car, is that success? You think, ooh. And I got to be totally honest with you. I'm not a Dave Ramsey fan, right? I think there's a bit of give and take. I think you need some balance. And I mean, I think Dave Ramsey, he's a bit of a hypocrite because he's made his money being a celebrity. He didn't make his money from being a tight ass guy. He's very catchphrasy. Like his advice is good for normal people. And I think financial planning. I think financial planners. That's one of the, I honestly, I think in life's journey, you got to work some of this stuff out yourself. You can't just, I think you got to understand. We got Doc BBW joining us. Hello, Doc BBW. But it's I mean, judge people on the watch they wear. Is a watch an important? Actually, I started, no one got the joke. I started this series, Mr. Bullshit. What would you, if you wanted to project as a gazillion, if you wanted to project as rich as possible, what car, what watch, what house would you have? And I got to be honest with you, you'd probably, you'd probably pick a two-door Mercedes, or you'd pick there's some great bang per buck secondhand cars that project really expensive but are secondhand bargains. And I got to be totally honest with you. It's I think it's what watch would I think the Bluesy is probably one of the greatest bang per buck watches. Like, it presents
I agree with
really
you.
well. It really
Two-tone more too for some reason.
two-tone Bluesy, just the blue is really, really, really cool. You'd even say a root beer is another great watch. Root beer, a
Yes.
Bluesy.
Yes.
I'd even say a two-tone Daytona would have amazing
Yeah.
bang per buck.
I agree with you. Yeah. 116523. Great watch.
You've baited me to come on because I have to disagree that BMW is not. I forget what you said exactly. You basically said it sucks, but I think you said that it was low quality or something like that.
It's I got to tell you, and you'd rent some sort of flashy townhouse or apartment. I've actually seen people, they have a beautiful a house or apartment. It's rented. The furniture's all leased or rented, and they have a Mercedes, and you think, fuck, this is just, there's no substance here.
Can I tell you a story real quick? In 2008, when I was still living in Michigan and the car industry was going bankrupt in my neighborhood, 2 doors down from me, actually, most people, several houses in my cul-de-sac went into a state, what do you call it? They were repossessed by the bank for short payments.
Foreclosure.
And there was a house, foreclosures, thank you, I can't English today. And there was a house 2 doors down from us that had a brand new Range Rover and a brand new Escalade parked in the driveway. It was a 6,000 square foot house. It was a brand new construction. The house went to a short sale, and when they did the short sale, I realized that people had no furniture in the entire fucking house. They spent every dollar that they had on parking a Range Rover and Escalade in the driveway and buying the house. And behind the curtains, they only had like 5 pieces of furniture in the entire house plus a bed. It was all front.
Sitting on boxes and things like
Sitting
that.
on boxes. Yeah. Doesn't that kind of say it all?
No furniture.
It's the American way.
They had no money to pay for the furniture. They had to pay the note on the Escalade and the Range Rover leases.
And the house was leased or rented?
They had a mortgage on it, but this was back in the, no money down, whatever you want. It was a $1 million house at the time in 2008. I mean, it was a nice house, but they lost it.
Literally a house of cards.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. It's just like, what are you trying to accomplish here?
And
Keeping
the other
up
thing
with
is
the Joneses.
a lot of those cars too, they have expensive repairs.
Oh, Range Rover repairs are super cheap, Archie, right?
Well, even if it's under warranty,
they're
tires
cheap
are
but
not
frequent.
cheap.
Sorry.
That's a good one. Yeah.
What was that, Archie?
Tires are super expensive.
On a Range Rover? I didn't know that.
Any of those vehicles, they're expensive.
Well, everything is relative. Like, they're not Ferrari expensive, but they're more expensive than a Camry. It's true.
Super chat GB20 Max AC3. I love the Mr. Bullshit series. Bring up a vid. Look, you can find that on the ArchieLuxury program.
Are you saying that's not enough to bring it up on the show? I'm trying to remember if it's still in your archive.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly, exactly. That I thought that was, you could honestly. The whole point was you could look minted by a simple cup. Now the thing is, the reality is, if you did buy yourself a 5-year-old Mercedes, you are going to have some fucking expensive repairs come up.
You know, a friend of mine just bought a 2012 Mercedes. I wish I can remember which one it is. I know it's a 4-door. And for one thing, it looks much newer than 2012. It looks like it's just a few
You
years
don't know
old.
what class it is, C, E, or S?
It's E-Class. I just don't remember exactly what it is.
Okay.
But it's very nice, and it's got not quite 100,000 miles on it, but it's been doing fine with just regular maintenance. It has a nice, thorough maintenance history, and no problem so far. So,
How long do you think a car like that should last for? See, I think 10 years is probably the life of it.
see, but it's a 2012, so he's already gone past his 10 years. He's under 100,000 by a little bit, but he's gone past his 10 years. But look, I mean, my BMW is an 05. I haven't had anything other than maintenance on it so far.
Your
Knock wood.
your BMW is a better built car. We had those. My father had 2 of those when they were new, a 2012 and like a 2015, and they broke when they were under warranty and new. It was like auxiliary battery failure. They had some like secondary battery in the trunk to run some electronics that would go out consistently. It was like dumb, stupid stuff. The command system would freeze. It was really silly junk.
In the BMW?
No, in the Mercedes, the E-Class.
Oh, in the Mercedes?
Yeah, that generation E-Class.
I had my 135 had issues like the explosive seat belts. They had the light lit up while the car was in because I hit a deer, so it was in the body shop for a minor fender work done under my insurance, and while it was under their care, the light turns on for the ballistic seatbelts to pull the seatbelts tight when you're in a crash. At the same time, your airbags come out. You know, it's one of the new safety features of cars. The belts tighten up.
Oh, pretensioners. Yeah, the pretensioners.
Apparently they're ballistic. You know, there's some sort of micro explosive something, and it makes it happen instantly. Anyways, they wouldn't give me the car back. They said, we cannot legally give you this car back with this not functioning. And so the car sat at the dealership for a week while they fucking ran around trying to find the right sensor that went underneath my seat. This is a 135i.
They're a great car, those.
They are. Yeah, you know.
But what year was it? It's a newer one, right?
No, it was year one. It was 08, 135i, year one.
Oh, 08. Okay.
Did you have the high pressure fuel pump replaced in it? Because I remember those were pretty notorious.
Of course. Yeah, no, of course. All the N54s had that done.
Are we transitioning into car talk? Because I feel like we got pretty depressive and emotional on this thing. Should we pick up a livelier topic? What sounds?
Yes. Yes. So tell me this: these people who have no money, what Rolexes are they most inclined to wear?
Oh, this will be good.
If they have no money, you're saying?
Yes.
So I mean, they have little money.
They have a 1970s Datejust on an aftermarket 2-tone bracelet stretched to hell with a scratched crystal that they bought at some pawn shop.
You think that shows they have no money, or what?
I would agree that it you know, a simple Datejust. They're gonna wear that. At least it's recognizable as a Rolex, even from a distance, and that's all they need. Fluted bezel on it, of course.
Actually, you know, funny enough, I just thought about this. I know 2 people in my life that were both multi-millionaires or more, and one of them had a watch they bought for $5 at a flea market in Florida. One of those stretchy bands on it. Remember those stupid like hair puller bands? They stretch over your wrist.
Sure.
And the other one wore a fake Rolex Datejust from China that was about 20 years old with the gold peeling off of it. And they wore both of them daily.
Nice.
So one was a fake Datejust and the other one was one of those stretchy quartz shit watches. But they didn't like watches very much, so I don't know if that counts.
Well, but they liked fronting if they were wearing a fake one with plated gold peeling off. That's an attempt at fronting, and they don't know that they're not pulling it off.
This individual who I'm related to, I don't want to pick on them too hard, would ask people if they thought it was a good one. They thought it was a pretty good replica, and see if they could fool you with it. It was like a joke for them.
So he recognized, I assume it was a he recognized that with it peeling and everything, it was obviously fake.
Yeah, my dad brought it back from a business trip in Shanghai for him, like 1990 something.
Oh, so it was sort of like, I don't know. It was a memento of a sort.
You're making it sound really romantic. Yes, I guess it was.
I don't know. I mean, you know, why else would he do this? But your father gave it to him, so he obviously felt some value in that, I would guess.
Yeah, this is after they rolled over all the fake watches in Canal Street in New York City. So people that went to China were hit up for aftermarket goods. This is like late 90s, early 2000s. That was the thing to do.
Wow.
My brother bought me when he was in, I think, Singapore. He bought me a green Submariner, like super clone, and it's pretty damn close, man. Like the buckle and the bracelet are pretty darn close.
Speaking pretty darn close, I was playing poker, and one of the guys was wearing a Panerai, and I was like, "Oh man, that's a nice Panerai." And then the next time he showed up, he's wearing a different Panerai. He's wearing an ice blue dial Panerai. I said, "Oh my God, you got two Panerai? What's going on, man? You must be winning well with these poker games." And eventually he admitted it was a replica, and it was a good replica, I have to say, because I'm not a Panerai guy, but I wouldn't have detected it.
Well, haven't we all heard the stories of some replicas actually being serviced by Panerai and being sent back?
Yeah, and I let him know Panerai's notorious in that regard. I was telling him all that when I thought it was real. I was saying, "Oh, you got to be very careful. You won't be able to sell it. Sometimes you can't sell it without having the receipt because they're faked so well." Because I just knew this guy would be wearing a real Panerai if he's wearing a Panerai. Nope, it was fake. His brother lives in China, so he was in China for a month.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I don't know how it is where you guys are. Where I live, they won't even buy a pre-owned Panerai from you unless it has box and papers. They won't even look at it if it's missing box and papers because of the clone issue.
Exactly. And I spent all this time explaining, because he knows I'm in the watches. I spent all this time explaining, and I think he kind of felt like he'd better say something or I'd figure it out or something. I don't think I would have figured it out, but again, I'm not really a Panerai guy.
When I worked at Beg Knives, making, the $2,500, $3,000 pocket knives, working there as a machinist and doing everything, my boss walked in wearing a Panerai, and I got excited because I've worked every day there with wearing my Submariner, and he was like, "Yeah, my grandfather gave it to me," and then a few months later, he came to me and he said, "Dude, I can't lie to you, man. That it's a fake," and it actually kind of really affected me because I was really excited that my boss was like, also watching.
Your life's not too bad if you get affected by that, Mikey. Your life's not too bad.
It affected me enough to the point where I bought him a Seiko Presage cocktail time, and I said, "Look, throw that fucking Panerai away. Here's a real watch. It's not the best, but it's a real automatic, and it's a real fucking watch." And
I think you have a super chat.
We got a super chat. Super chat. Herman Piano Dude, $2. God bless the Hilltop Youth and Rabbi Kahana. Thank you. I got to tell you something there, Jay Anthony. The big divide in America. Let me tell you this, Jay Anthony.
Politics time.
No. Actually, I'll be totally honest with you. What I don't like about American politics is this. I like the Democrats have freedom with sexuality and things. I think some of those are fair enough. You want to be gay? That's okay. You want to do this? That's okay. The Americans.
You want to chop off things? That's okay.
their right wing tends to be so religious right. Ugh. And then what I don't understand is in America is that your left wing, they seem to have very, very they're very, very left wing, and the right wing is you want to say, look, we've got a health system that doesn't work. How can we fix it? We've got
That's
this
actually
that doesn't work. How do we do this? And I think the big problem is both sides, they're not really that interesting to me, to be honest with you. Both sides, and I think, to be honest with you, I was a huge Trump supporter, but
Mm.
I really don't think that election was rigged. If it was so rigged, why did he get in the first place? You know what I mean? And
I
if he
agree.
would have just graciously said, "Look, I didn't win. That's
there
okay."
there were a
No,
number of abnormalities though in 2020
no,
that
but
hadn't
just
occurred
hang
before.
on, Doc. If he would have been gracious, that would have served him a lot better. And the other thing is, let me say this to you,
Mhm.
is that he could have Obama was very gracious how he handed the banner over. I mean, people
No, he
hate
wasn't.
Obama, but I got to tell you, he very graciously said we're in a country where we change governments and we don't have civil war. I
But
thought that was
then,
a really good speech he gave. Obama was pretty cool about it.
but
Trump,
then,
being the
but then,
complete asshole, won't
but
even
then,
attend anything. I'm not
but
attending. He just
but then Obama was spying on Trump at the same time. Very gracious.
look. Both sides have nasty. I tell you what, both sides are really nasty to each other.
That might be true, but spying is illegal.
What I wanted to say is the divide in America. It's not politics. I tell you honestly, what I find, because I visited America a couple years ago, the
Mhm.
big thing is, tell me what you think of this, Jay Anthony, is $1 million. There are people worth $1 million. And now $1 million, honestly, is not as much as it used to be, but that seems to be the big divide. Like what I mean is $1 million total net worth, which could be you own some sort of apartment or house. You have some money in your 401k. You have a bit of savings. You have some things. There is a big divide in America who had, like, I think that is kind of the divide. Household is worth $1 million. I'm not talking individual. So it's a husband and wife. That seems to be the divide. $1 million. And you kind of everyone looks for these symbols. The truth is, did you ever read that book, Jay Anthony, Millionaire Next Door?
Mhm.
And it's often the person with the brand new BMW isn't that well off. You know, they've kind of, it's a lease or a fleece. That's kind of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people who look rich who aren't that rich. Like I know one lady, right? I know this. My friend of mine is dating this lady, and she always wears expensive designer clothes, but she's got a $3 million house where she owes $2 million on it. She's got an X5.
Mhm.
Okay, she's worth $1 million. I grant you that, but she's also got a lot of commitment. When I say commitment, I mean she has got the Beamer payment, which is it's like doing a marathon with a brick in each hand. She's got $2 million mortgage, which is, in Australia, they're variable notes, because you can only fix for usually 3 to 5 years is the maximum fixing. So they don't have permanent fixed rates. So she $2 million to owe. See, when interest rates were 2%, that was 20%, 20,000 per $1 million. You think, oh, that's okay. But now it's become 60,000 per $1 million. Holding costs, servicing costs. You see what I mean? And
Mhm.
that's the big thing. It's no longer cheap.
Yeah, it's a liability.
It's no longer cheap money. And I got to tell you, a lot of these brands like Louis Vuitton, they've gone into watches. They're not really a watch company. What is their core? Their core was the luggage.
Mhm.
Their core, and you look at a lot of these brands, and this is the thing you got to realize, like Rolex, I got a lot of respect for them because they're a watch company. They don't go into they haven't gone into Rolex pens or Rolex sunglasses. They just do watches, watches, watches. And I really think, you know, Rolex itself there, it's really become a bit of a fashion accessory, which I don't like. See, it's like this. You see someone in a Mercedes, that doesn't mean they're a car person. They like expense. Rolex has become the same thing. With a
Yes,
Breguet or a Vacheron or a JLC, that's a watch enthusiast.
I agree.
Around here, it's Tesla. Every second or third car is a
Is
Tesla.
Tesla even a luxury car now?
Never
Oh.
was.
Well, the S, you know, they're kind of on the same level as BMW as far as I'm concerned. I honestly, I've never even looked inside of one too hard, but you know, price wise and looks wise, they kind of seem to fit into the same category as like a
I
four-door
got
Beamer.
Bear just sent me a beautiful photo. He's at the game. There's a ball game on in Detroit.
Or is that
Oh, the
Camaro guy?
Lions.
Or is he at Ford Field? Which one is he at?
I'll bring it up. Just hang on.
Is it the Lions?
We got to be careful with this politics talk. Your audience is telling me they're all Trump fans, so you're digging yourself a hole.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, he's at Ford Field. Okay, yeah, that's right downtown. That used to be a factory. They're not like a warehouse. They converted part of it.
Does the roof open up? Looks like the roof opens up.
I don't believe so. No, it's really
Oh,
pretty
no?
inside. Actually, it's a great part of town.
Very cool.
We got another super chat here. We got Bear Clooney watches $5. Touchdown Lions. Show Jay Anthony pick from Ford Field in your WhatsApp. Detroit, Michigan, baby.
Real quick, I do want to just say I don't want to talk about politics all here, but I will say I agree with you. I think both sides have lost their fucking minds, and I'm voting one way or the other. Doesn't I mean honestly who I vote for doesn't really matter. But
you know what I find disturbing is both sides are so anti the other side. Like they're I find that worrying. You know, like I like to have a swinging. I vote for whoever. You know, I've liked many Republicans.
Only one side calls the other side Hitler. Only one side calls the other side Hitler. So I don't think I'd say they're both the same.
But
the other side is busy telling people not to eat dogs and cats and doing sex changes in prison and aborting 9-month-old babies. Whatever. They're both crazy. I don't like Kamala either, but this whole conversation, there's I don't want to convince anybody. I don't want to talk about this shit, but can we all agree though? I mean, I agree with you, Archie. Both sides have gotten way too extreme. And when I say both sides, I mean literally. I think both sides have lost their fucking minds. I think the Democrats screwed the shit out of COVID. I've already said my piece about Trump. I lived downtown when they let homeless camping happen in my city, and I literally was surrounded by homeless people breaking into my building every morning, which was terrific. We need to find a way to come together better, and even Doc and I, or whoever else. I mean, I think we've done a shit job being Americans lately to that point, regardless of the presidents that are running. These are just, these are just people running for office. I mean, they're not people we'd be friends with anyway. We need to take care of each other. Like, take care of Detroit, which is a great city, and it's so nice to see it actually look pretty because people just see pictures of burnout buildings in Detroit. Detroit's a great city.
Yep, yeah. They always just emphasize the destroyed part of Detroit.
Oh, this is giving me FOMO. I miss this.
Busted out factories and stuff, and yeah, they never bother to show the good parts. It's just like Oakland, Oakland's known as this like scary, horrible place, man. But the Oakland Heights and Richmond Heights in California are some of the nicest, most posh places money can own. But you go down into the wrong neighborhood, you're asking for trouble.
I mean, any city's that way, right?
Yeah, and but some cities are just known more for it. Yeah.
So Archie, at Brisbane, I don't know anything about it other than you're there and I've heard of it. What do you think of Brisbane? What's Brisbane like?
Look, Brisbane is unfortunately, Australia has gotten very expensive. Brisbane itself there has people prefer it has a warmer climate than Sydney or Melbourne.
Okay.
It
Huh.
is the third largest capital city. Look, Brisbane itself there, interestingly enough, is Brisbane. The area of Brisbane is similar is second only to California in size. So Brisbane is a big area. We don't have the population of California. The sad thing is, let me tell you this: the demographics. What's happened? It used to be a great place. You could start a family and have children and this and that. You've got a rental vacancy situation now of less than the whole developed world has changed like crazy. It's impossible to rent a place. It's impossible. It's places to buy are expensive. As I said there, you're looking at $900,000 for a place. That's
Yeah.
for a house. For an apartment is a bit cheaper, probably $600,000 to $700,000. What that means is that people are going to start having less children because they're not moving out at home at 20. People used to, once you finished high school or went to college, you could feasibly rent a cheap room somewhere. Well, that doesn't. There is no such thing as a cheap room anymore. So I think Brisbane itself there, look, there's a lot of opportunity anywhere. There is nowhere in the world that you can't work hard to succeed. You have to get some you get some talent, you get some education, you get some skills, and you try the game of life. The unfortunate thing with Brisbane is that it has become so. It's like any of these developed, like Canada is no different, America is no different, New Zealand. It's become really expensive, and I think that is a shame. It used to be affordable. You could buy. What's happened is everything's gone up. Wages have gone up as well, but it's the ratio. When I was going back 20, 30 years ago, houses were about 150,000.
Oh wow, that's quite inflation.
Right, and wages were about 30,000, but now wages are like 80,000, but the house is like almost $1 million. So it's those ratios. And what happens is too, the more money you earn, you've got higher bracket creep of taxes. Those salaries there have got higher creep taxes. So Brisbane's a nice place, but it is expensive. Would I say to you, like if you asked me honestly, hey Arch, I want to visit Doc. Hello, Doc. Doc's sister came to Sydney and she went on a cruise and she said it is expensive because we don't tip on Australia, but our minimum wage is like 15 US an hour.
Yeah.
You see? Okay. So if ever you people wanted to see what it's like to have a country where people earn a good living wage, well, we do that here, and everything is expensive. It's expensive. Nothing is free. So in all honesty there, you've got to really understand these you've got to really understand this sort of situation. It is tougher. Brisbane is it's a Western world. Is there anything? Look, you stay at a hotel in the city, you're looking at about 200 a night for a nice hotel. Okay, that's not the best hotel. So that's Aussie. So what's that? It's about 150 US a night, which
that's pretty
probably
cheap. Actually, though, for I mean, I don't mean cheap as it's cheap. I mean it's cheap by U.S. standards.
Yes.
Then they have like tax and occupancy and all this BS fees that go on top of that, right?
Ours isn't too bad. There's not too much there.
Oh, they get you here. If you're in Vegas, they really get you with the resort fees too.
Yes, that's ridiculous.
You know where I think Australia excels is in car racing. Their Australian V8 supercars are what our NASCAR should be. They don't do roundy round. They're all road courses, and they all are based off the cars from a showroom floor. They're not this template, all cars identical spec race that NASCAR is. They're actual Holdens and actual Nissans and actual Mercedes, and they take them and they build them into these badass V8 powered race cars. And those Australians know how to race, boy. Bathurst, go watch them, man. Those guys, they tear it up. And I wish we had racing like that here in America. We should have the Australian. Well, I think we have had the Australian V8 supercars race at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas.
That's down the street from me.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
We got another super chat. We got a super chat.
Guys...
Herman Piano Guy, $2. The average IQ in Japan is 105. Do the math.
This chat is pretty toxic.
And we got Bear Clooney watches, $2. Touchdown Lions. Yeah, Detroit.
Nice. Something you would agree with, I think, Archie, with Dave Ramsey. And I'll be honest, he's not like some hero of mine either. I watch his stuff, and I think there's some truth to it, but I also think some of it's unrealistic, to your point, honestly. But he's made multiple. I think he's interviewing Trump, or he just did. But he's trying. But he said multiple times, who you vote for president doesn't really matter. He tells all his viewers that. He's like, look, I've never had Congress or a president make my life inherently better. He's like, if you think they're going to come save your life and make everything better day one, you're a moron. You need to take care of yourself, is basically what he says on the air consistently to people.
Yes.
No presidents come to my front door or anything for me. I don't know about you. Do they come to Australia and pay you visits too?
Sorry, what's that?
I said, do they come pay you visits in Australia? I don't expect Kamala to start handing me $100 bills at my front door tomorrow. No. Right? I'm not getting anything out of this either.
No, I totally agree with you. You're right. It's it is very true. That is very true. It's no, that's very true. Look, the thing is with Dave Ramsey, I don't think he understands, because things are so expensive. I do believe that borrowing money, like to buy an investment property, that has made a lot of people significantly wealthy.
Yeah.
A bit of leverage is needed. You do need leverage. And Dave says, well, pay cash. Now, the problem is, let me tell you, you don't have that. By the time you've saved enough, the price is doubled, or tripled or whatever. You can never really. Now, I understand you don't want to be borrowed up to your teeth. Some people have pushed it completely the other way, and they can also lose their shirt. But if you look at Dave Ramsey, he talks about how he went bankrupt himself.
Yep.
He basically bought many homes on a variable note, and the bank just simply called it in. Well, what was he doing? Not fixing. Why wouldn't you just fix the note? And they wouldn't have called it in. But he was on a variable note, and they called it in. If he had been on a fixed note, it'd basically be okay. And I think, I'll be honest with you. Okay, so I bought my car on a lease. Did I have the money? I could have sold some watches, but they were stolen. But I could have sold watches when I bought the car. Sometimes in life, it's good to buy things that aren't the most economically sensible.
Okay.
That's the reality. I mean, do you always do? If everybody,
in other words, you need to splurge on yourself occasionally.
Well, if everybody did sensible things, we'd all be driving a white Corolla or a white Hyundai i30.
One of my professors said everybody would be driving a Beetle.
Well, And the thing is this, let me say this to you. It's Aristotle Onassis. He said, if it wasn't for women, money would have absolutely no meaning at all. We got another super chat. We got Bear Clooney. We got Big Tony. Big Tony, $2. No tax on tips. And yes, that includes super chats. No tax on tips. And yes, that includes super chats.
There is something to say statistically. Men are less interested in dating women. Like I guess 60% or so of men, young men, certain dating age, 20 to 40, are not interested in dating women, and it means that they're not interested in earning more to spend more, because men usually don't have as many requirements financially.
That's interesting.
In fact, I'd say the guys are more likely to have a house without any furniture than the women. I know both sexes do it, but the guys are far more likely to do it.
Would you say, Doc, that the real key in life to happiness is having a 2006 or older BMW? Is that really the message you want to send?
Well, I just came on because you guys baited me, or Archie baited me by saying that, you know, the BMWs were inferior quality. Obviously, if I had more money, and if I were willing to spend that money on cars, because I've certainly spent more money on watches than cars, but if I were going to spend it on a car, you know, I'd consider something like a Singer, because I've never driven one, but it seems pretty sweet. I'd consider something like that. It's kind of understated. Most people would look at it and think, oh, that's like a 1975 Porsche or something, pretty nice. And they'd never know that it's something actually much bigger and better than that. And,
what's your daily?
Sort of
is it the M3, or do you have it, or what do you daily drive?
I drive the BMW more than the Porsche. The 968 is a little older, and I used to think it was more valuable. At one time it was, and it has less than 70,000 miles on it, which is pretty good for 1993. So I was using the BMW as more of a daily, but I should probably rethink that. Because it's not a 911 after all. It's not a 911, so it's not that big a deal. Like Archie says, just enjoy it. So I probably should just drive it if I feel like driving it.
Worst thing you do for a car is just let it sit.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I take the Porsche out on weekends, and the BMW is during the week.
Which is more satisfying?
I probably should reconsider that. What was that?
What's the more satisfying car to drive on a nice day?
Well, they're both satisfying in different ways. The Porsche is lighter, so it's a little more fun to drive because it is lightweight. But the BMW is no slouch either, so I have an equally fun time driving either one.
That's a good place to be.
The Porsche is closest to 50-50 weight distribution, I'd say. So it spins like a top if it's out of control.
That's fun. We got to teach our friend Archie here how to do donuts and how to drift. I gather he's never done it.
I have no.
That can damage in these modern cars. Do you know how much damage that can do to your differential and your gearbox? And
for what?
Wow, I didn't realize it's so delicate.
Sorry?
They're too delicate.
I think
they are. I think you know, you've often the traction control. There was actually a video of a Mercedes, a guy in an C63S. He's trying to do a burnouts, and he basically computers are fighting it, and the engine just burst into flames.
Oh, I think I saw that video. It was like a coupe.
Yeah.
Black. Yeah.
There may have been more to the story too, though.
There's another famous video on YouTube of a C7 or a C6 Corvette Z06 where the guy tries to do a burnout, but he ends up just rolling clutch instead
just-
for like 10 minutes.
It's just clutch instead. Yeah,
Yeah.
just smoke in everywhere, and he's not going anywhere, and he thinks he's burning his tires.
Can't fix stupid.
That's a classic video.
So why do you think why with the burnouts and that there? I mean, these cars, it's really, really bad to do that shit.
Well, they've got a lot of electronics in the cars that are trying to prevent that from happening. So you are probably doing more damage when you do it, I'm thinking.
See, cars are therapy for me. They're one of my escapes from reality. And to me, there's nothing more fun than, especially on a rainy day, literally power sliding around corners in the car. So if you don't want to damage the car, do it on a rainy day where there's no traction to create more pressure on the gearbox and the drivetrain. Balancing the fun of a real drive car is the balance. The front wheels are steering, the back you can get out, you can modulate the throttle, you can literally hold it at a perfect drift.
And it depends on the car, obviously.
Yes.
But I mean, either my Porsche or BMW has no problem. I have no problem sliding the back end out, and it's not hurting anything. And I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah, and tell me, maybe you feel differently. It means accelerating from 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 is fine. To me, doing burnouts and drifting, to me is much or more fun than accelerating. And if you're apparently Australia is really serious about speeding. That to me is half the fun I have in the car. I say a day. Yeah.
In Australia, if you're 50 kilometers over, you can get the car impounded.
I think the same thing happens here in the United States. Not maybe, I don't know about the number though.
20 or 25 miles an hour over the speed limit, and you are cuffed and stuffed, and your car is towed away.
Where's that?
Well, I think it's
in California, at least.
You're joking.
I think it's that. I think it's that I think it's that the police have the discretion at a certain point.
Virginia's that way too. Virginia's really bad.
So not everybody gets cuffed and slammed to the pavement, but certainly anybody who's seriously misbehaving. I don't know how that's defined in California anymore. It used to be if you stole $900, you were seriously misbehaving, but now it's legal. So I don't know exactly what you have to do, but it's a discretionary thing.
I can say a fact that when I was in Michigan, I routinely went 5 or 6x the speed limit. And the few times that I was pulled over as a youth, the cops were car people, and they usually gave me a look of "you idiot," but they let me go. I think some of it is the part where you live in the country and the culture. I'm not saying that happens to everybody, but if you're not a dick and they're car people, they tend to let you go. If you live in California or Virginia or Australia, it sounds like they don't have a sense of humor. And in Texas, they don't have a sense of humor here either. Really, they don't.
I've been let go more times than I can count for doing really stupid shit, like pulling a wheelie right down Main Street downtown on my 2-stroke street bike, and stopping at the stoplight, and right there is parked a motorcycle cop. I shook my head and turned the bike off, and he just looked at me and he goes, "That was really stupid." And I said, "I know." And he said, "Get the hell out of here." He let me go.
Hey, Super Chat, Big Tony, $2. Arch, your thought on no tax on Super Chats, please. Look, I got to tell you, any Super Chats are actually income for me, so I do actually have to pay tax. But you know what? Super Chats get this show going. Without the Super Chats, we wouldn't be doing. This is a great. We try and provide some good entertainment, some good discussion, some good talk, different panelists, and I think that is a great way to go with some watch backbone, a little bit of car talk thrown in there. Let me tell you something, Jay Anthony. Australia is a huge nanny state. Like, I drove down to Melbourne, which was it was about 4,000. I can tell you exactly. I think it's about 3,000. I'll tell you exactly. In miles, I drove just under 3,000 miles. Okay.
Yeah, it's a long ways.
And on the highways in Australia, we have these cameras. You've got speed cameras. You have got these cameras above you. They photograph, click, 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 click. Seatbelt. If you're not wearing a seatbelt, phone. What sort of society takes photos of law-abiding citizens on the hope of catching them out doing something wrong?
That rubs me wrong in every aspect. That's terrible. That's
It's even
ridiculous.
worse than that. My father and a friend both let their girlfriends drive their car. Both their girlfriends ran a red light. Okay. So the ticket, you would think would go to my father, right? Because they take a picture of your license plate, it goes to the registered owner of the car. No, because of facial recognition, both of the women got tickets sent directly to them because they were recognized by they. If you've been to an airport, your face is on file, and they were
I
on
don't think
file.
that's such a bad thing, Mikey. Because
That's
they
creepy.
did.
But he's
It's
making a
creepy is
point
what it
that
is.
he's making a point that AI is going to be everywhere, and
Look, I got to tell you, Jay Anthony, let me say this to you seriously, right? In this country here, I love Australia. There's a lot of good things here, okay? It's a beautiful country. But why do you photograph law-abiding citizens on the hope you can catch them not intentionally doing something wrong, catch them out on something?
Yep.
And
but
I
come
got to
on,
be totally honest with you.
it's the same mentality as a star chamber.
It's just why would you honestly want to try? I think it's one thing if a cop pulls you over for speeding, that's one thing. But if you use technology will always win.
Yep.
And if you're constantly monitoring you, it's a nanny state. Nanny. So what do they want? Do they want you? See, this is the whole thing. They're not really interested in road safety. They're looking at revenue.
Of
They've
course.
Yes.
invested millions of dollars into these cameras and things. It's not to save lives. I think there's more suicides. Let me tell you something. I think there's more suicides and mental health problems caused by fucking cameras fucking taking photos of law-abiding people who've done the wrong thing, and then they fucking, oh, shit, I'm going to lose my license. I'm going to lose my livelihood. It is so severe. It is so severe. It really is quite terrible. And I got to tell
Somebody-
you something.
Somebody in theory voted for that, though. In theory.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the funny thing is both sides of politics in Australia have a lot of cameras, and in my state, if you are caught not wearing a seatbelt or using your phone, it's $1,000 fine. And the stupid thing with this is it actually affects the poorer people more than the richer people. Let me explain.
Yes. No, you're right. Yeah.
It's a way of
When I say
moving the
that,
money from the poor to the rich, definitely.
No, but let me explain it to you. The richer people, you don't normally touch your phone because it's all integrated into your car. So I don't even need to touch my fucking phone. Okay.
The rich people have somebody who actually is on the phone for them.
And
Yep.
the other thing is, richer people, I got Google Maps. It tells me there's a speed camera ahead. There's this. You've got that technology helping you at times. The other thing is that the poorer people who can at least afford it, they're more inclined to not be able to afford this technology which can help them. And I'll be honest with you, it is fucking awful. The thing is this, they've got cameras to catch me not wearing a seatbelt or using my phone. They don't have fucking cameras to worry about the burglars who robbed my fucking house. They don't have it really, I'll be honest with you, it really does make me really question how the fuck everything works there. And I'll be honest with you, I know a few people, middle-aged people, who've lost their license and it's wrecked their lives. If you, I tell you what, I really do feel Jay Anthony, I really feel, right, to the average person who has, like, you don't have children, right? I
No.
think the biggest fucking mistake you can have is having children.
What?
Okay. The reason
I've
I
heard-
say that is that my children, I've got 4. I had 4. One of them died. It caused so much misery when they are not behaving. Okay. I had 2 who went down a bad path. One of them paid the ultimate price with his life. Okay. He died. And I never was in the drug scene. He normalized it and said, "Oh, it's okay, Dad." I'm just no, it's not okay. I never said it was okay, and he's paid the price. The having children, the government, I'll be honest with you, it's so fucking expensive. It is so I honestly, if I was a young person today, there's no way in the world I would have children. Unless I had a lot of money. Unless I had a lot of money and a death wish.
Is that why you've been trying to get me to have kids?
Wow.
And I mean, seriously, the housing situation is the whole like, you look at countries like Japan. Jay Anthony, you're a huge Japan person.
I have an unhealthy
They-
crush on Japan. Yes.
They have got a huge population problem. The population is dying. It's shrinking. They got an aging. You know, the funny thing is, in the 70s, it was birth control. The world's going to overpopulate. That was always the big thing. China had the one-child policy. Well, guess what? That one-child policy has been a fucking disaster for China because
It's called a backfire.
people preferred to have male children than female children. So now the females are actually highly in demand, right? Because there's proportionally more men than women. You fucked up the natural progression.
That's
Mhm.
not. Yeah, there's more.
You
to it,
have
but
also got a situation now in China and Japan where people just aren't having children because it's fucking expensive and there's very little government incentive. Japan has to take responsibility. They've had fucking male governments who have very unfriendly work practices for wives. Well, if you're going to fucking shit on having children, is it any wonder now you've got some cities in Japan where the average age is over 60? You know, in Japan, they sell more adult diapers than baby diapers.
Why do you know these facts?
that's
And
partly
did you know
cosplay, though, right?
they sell more pet prams in Japan than baby prams?
I understand that's part of their sex play, though.
This is one of the most screwed up conversations I've had in probably the last couple of months. This whole
Even
chat.
though they're also the
I was
largest.
just thinking,
They are the
domo
largest
arigato,
producer
Mr.
of
Roboto.
pornography in the world, of adult entertainment in the world as well.
Well, so one thing I will say is we've been shitting on America for all the reasons it absolutely deserves. And our two-party system is royally effed. But I'm also very grateful for it because 2 things. One is we can never agree on anything, which means nothing ever gets done. And 2, what's great is you in Australia, you have one system. In America, we're 50 independent nations under one nation. So, you know, Mikey lives in California. I live in Texas. If you just visited them and just drop, you would think you're on a totally different planet. They have nothing to do with each other whatsoever.
Hey, Jay Anthony, you think Australia's better? Let me explain something to you. Okay, let me. Can I? I'm gonna just hang on there, please. I want to explain something to you because you don't seem to understand. I want to show you something, Jay Anthony. Okay, look at
I didn't
this.
say Australia's better. I think Japan's better. That's where I want to be. Japan is my better, but yes, go ahead.
Japan is your better.
I love Japan.
I'm not convinced Japan has the answers either, to be honest with you. But hey,
I have my family has been in the U.S. since the Revolutionary War. I have ancestors that fought in the Revolutionary War, so I'm here for life. I'm stuck.
Let me show you something. This is a map of Australia. Okay. This is a map of Australia. Okay. Here we go. Just pull this fucker up. Okay, can you see that on the screen there?
It was just coming into focus. Sorry, can you go back? Yes.
Okay. Now, can you see there? You've got Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Did you realize Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, that's the front. That's the eastern front, right? Did you realize those 3 states have 3 different size railway tracks?
That's cool.
So in Queensland, we've got something called narrow gauge.
Uh-huh.
In New South Wales, we've got something called standard gauge. And in Victoria, they've got something called broad gauge.
Oh,
3
Jesus.
different size railway tracks, right? Yes. Yes.
That's what happens when you don't get
Point-
along.
Point
And
taken.
that's what happens when you exactly. And we've also got 3 layers of government. So we got the federal government, we have state government. So federal, they do things like they do taxes, they do things like the army, they do things like they do budgeting and things like that. Then you've got the states. So the states, then they get money from the federal. The states, each state or territory, they do things like police, education, they do hospitals. Then we've got another layer of government called local government who does local. That's rubbish collection, sewerage. So you have these local councils. 3 tiers of government. We are over fucking regulated beyond a joke. Speaking of
What's crazy to me is Texas is the same size basically as Australia from a population perspective. I mean, so that's a lot of messed upness in that area.
Bear Clooney watches, $2. Guess what? Touchdown Lions!
Wow, they're really building up a lead here.
Oh, such
And we
pride.
got Herman
Good for
joining
Bear.
us. Hello, Herman.
They're called the Lions because they lie so much.
I got to tell you, so you've got a country that's got 3 different. It's just a fucking joke, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying or not?
I'm
Every
too
time
distracted
Jay
by
Anthony-
these comments. I'm losing my attention. This has been the most toxic and ridiculous conversation I've had in the last couple of months. I got to be real.
Every time he tries to move out of politics, Archie brings him back in.
To me, talking about politics is like arguing with stupid people. There's just like no point. It's just going to beat you down. I don't care who you vote for. I'm not going to influence you who I want you to vote you for. It doesn't matter. It's like, do what you want. Every country's fucked. That's I guess unless you live in Monaco, and I can't afford that yet.
No, well, I think the truth
Although I
is
will say, Trump is the first.
you wouldn't want to have it like Russia or China. That's not the
No.
answer, is it?
Don't get me wrong. As much as I think America has issues, there's a short list of places I'd rather live, and I don't think America is a bad country. Just every country has their issues.
I mean, America, do you think you've got the land of opportunity? You can start with nothing and build something nice and substantial?
I absolutely believe that. And I know people think it's bullshit, but I really do think attitude and work ethic go a long way here. And I can give you a perfect example. My in-laws grew up in Vietnam. They're Chinese ethnically. They fled China. Their parents did when the communist takeover happened in the late 40s. They fled to Vietnam. They fled Vietnam because of a little thing called the Vietnam War. They survived on a 20-foot boat and made their way to Malaysia with a boat with like 5 horsepower, barely survived. Were in a refugee camp in Malaysia, and then ended up in Montreal, Canada, learned how to speak French before finding their way to Texas, speaking no English. Started off with nothing and have now started a successful restaurant and chain and now they have multiple kids and their entire family is here. And there's probably about 100 of their relatives living here that started off with absolutely nothing.
Of course, that's true. They have a high IQ and they work hard and they don't complain. That's the biggest thing. They don't complain. They just work. They just work. And their children get straight A's. And, but you can't talk about IQ because that offends people.
I don't think it's IQ. There's some really smart people IQ wise that are absolutely
Okay.
some of the dumbest people I know.
Whatever you say.
There is
I'm not
something
going
to
to
say
argue. I'm not going
for.
to argue with it. Yeah.
There is something to say about cultural, I don't know, priorities. So
Yes,
certainly,
cultural. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Japan is a first world country because they're smart. That's all I'm going to say.
Is it intelligence or is it work ethic?
Intelligence breeds work ethic. It comes with the intelligence.
I mean, you
I
can't.
got to be totally honest with you. I think the thing with Japan is that they lacking creativity. If you look at what's the most design conscious country, probably France and Italy.
No, the United States. The United States invented more than France and Italy.
Well,
Especially in the 250 years we've been around, we've invented more than those countries.
But
Those countries have produced great art and things like that.
A Ferrari.
The Ferrari's a piece
Internet,
of junk.
cell phones,
Piece of
computers, space travel.
I like the way Herman just wins an argument, right? Ferrari, right? I mean, come on, Jay Anthony. You may not like Ferrari, but would you ever say it's a piece of junk? Piece of junk. You for real? Are you?
If
for
I'm going
real,
to talk
Herman?
about Italy, I'm going to talk about Da Vinci and Michelangelo and people like that. I'm not going to talk about Ferrari.
What's
Ferrari is beneath those people.
Oh my God, this chat.
Oh, I'm so offended. Oh my God. Oh, I'm going to hide. I'm so offended. Oh my God.
Hey, Herman, you're a miserable argumentative bastard.
Yeah, fuck you
miserable
too.
Bastard.
Blah, 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 blah. Hey, yo.
Miserable bastard,
Hey, yo, fuck you too. Fuck you too. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. Fuck you. Ad hominem. Fuck you.
All right, hold on, Archie. I do agree with you on the creativity front. So if you look at America, the last couple hundred years, you have cell phones, computers, the internet, space travel, a lot of things that people now take for granted as everyday occurrences. Airplane travel originated largely within this country. The Japanese, you brought up last time, to your point, are really good at refining things.
Yes.
And to answer the question as to what's the difference is, I'd like to think it's because we have a very broad culture and we like telling each other to fuck off and break propriety. And like we can have open arguments on this chat right now, and this is okay in American society. Or other societies, you need to play along, kiss up, and whoever's older is theoretically better than you. I do think some of that, right? Is it cultural? What do you think?
The West values freedom. The East, they're used to being under some emperor or something like that. So they don't have the same kind of attraction to freedom that we do in the West here. We're in love with freedom. Well, freedom is a good thing, but it also comes with responsibilities.
Oh, for sure.
What about that piano, Fizzoli? That's
Fazioli.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you prefer one of those or a Steinway?
Fazioli is superb. It's like, I guess it's like a Ferrari. I guess, I don't know. It's beautiful.
Have you played one?
Yeah.
What did you think?
It's beautiful. It's just the touch, the sound, the look of the thing, the quality of the workmanship is just extraordinary on every level.
Who buys one of those?
The same people who buy Pateks and Richard Mille, rich people, not poor people.
If I could say one other thing, I'm going to stick with its culture. It's not people. So this whole ethnicity, this to me is just bullshit racism. If you ever go to Detroit, Archie,
come on with the racism. You can leave that word out. That's bullshit. People resort to that and they have no argument. If you talk about racism, you have no argument. Come on, you're smarter than that. Leave that word out.
Unless his argument is racism, then he has an argument.
Oh, everything is racism. Everything. Mathematics is racist.
Let me talk.
Science is racist.
Let's hear his argument.
So, if you visit any of the big cities in America that produce shit, and I'm most familiar with Detroit, a lot of the workforce in Detroit is actually Japanese Americans. They're attracted because of the car industry. I know we can talk about GM and everything else. Tesla, you name a lot of these companies, they have a lot of foreign labor that's come in and gotten American citizenship and are doing a lot of the technical stuff behind this car. The IT tech industry in the US is largely sourced from people in India. And my point is why I think it's cultural versus IQ and this stuff. IQ is a variable, right? And I'm sure it has a normal distribution and we can find charts where people have done IQ. we don't even know that IQ is even a good way to even measure usefulness. There are people that have very high IQs we call savants, right? We can agree that
they're the very top, though. The very, very high IQ people are savants. Yeah, but I'm talking about average IQ.
Well, my point to you is this. If you go to Detroit and you look in the auto industry, you will see every nationality under the sun of most people that were not born in this country. They're all working towards a common goal, and they're in a similar culture, which is we just want to kick ass. We want to be competitive. We want to do something better. I think it's the culture, not the person. And I think any of us in a society like Japan, like especially China or Russia, there are limits on how creative and how open you can be. And I think that's more the issue than it is actually the person in the body. That's my take.
Dearborn is even greater than Detroit in that respect.
Yeah, huge middle.
Dearborn is really a tremendous place.
Yeah, it is. Great food, too. Really good food.
Yeah, you know, absolutely.
I think it's a cultural thing. Right? You pick any race.
We can agree to disagree. I don't think, you know, I'd like to talk more about this, but I think you said it was toxic, and I think people are afraid to talk about these sensitive subjects, but they're very, very important.
Why?
Why are people afraid to talk about them, or why are they important?
I had no idea, Jay Anthony, your wife was Vietnamese Chinese.
It sounds like she's Chinese more than Vietnamese Chinese, but I don't know.
I don't like my personal life to be in the public. So, but yes, I
Vietnam is one of the most lovely countries I visited. That's one spot that I went to Da Nang, and I went to Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, and I gotta tell you, that is a country that I could fucking spend a lot more time in. It is an incredible country. It's a lot of beauty. I love Vietnam is incredible. I love it. 20 GB, 20 mex. What do you think about the move gung ho? Gung ho. Gung ho.
No more MTV, no more Twisted Sister.
I got to tell you, Vietnam, that's actually one country, Jay Anthony, I would love to. If you said to me, right, Arch, got to stay somewhere for 3 months, Vietnam would seriously come in. And I don't want to live in the western part. I'd like to go to Da Nang, just live in a little village and have live a modest. I'd fucking love to go to Vietnam. Vietnam is a country that I adored. Vietnam is incredible architecture. I like the French influence. They got some of the best breads, baguettes, those rolls. You know, all the food is influenced.
Yeah, our restaurant makes fresh spaghetti every morning. They make a lot of
I love Vietnamese food. Is incredible. The people are really nice. I must say, Vietnam is a very actually, that's probably. I love Japan as well. Japan is an amazing country, but I think Vietnam might actually pip it. Japan has a lot of rules. Like if you talk to Japanese people, they don't actually they have a lot of societal pressure.
I got yelled at in Japan for stupid stuff like sitting on the ground. Yeah, there are a lot of rules.
Who yells at you?
I remember I got dragged to Sunshine City to go to some Pokemon store, not my idea. And I sat on the ground because there was some stupid line, and some Renaka came up to me and was screaming at me in Japanese that I needed to get off the ground. Apparently, I didn't know this, and I respect the culture, but you never sit on the ground in Japan. It's considered dirty. And then I was the stupid American tourist taking pictures in the temples, and you never take a picture with the throne either. I didn't know that either, but I will never make that mistake ever either.
Usually,
I've sat on the ground. I've been to Japan 20 times. I've sat on the ground. I've taken pictures in the temples. I never had any problem. You can insult the emperor.
Herman, no one's going to argue with you, Herman.
Yeah, you just
I'm just making a point. Can I speak? I mean, can I have my opinion?
We got Patel Philippe, $5. AC3. I scrolled through the entire stream and not a single watch was brought up on the screen. Is this a joke?
Thank God for that.
let me just finish with this, and then and Herman too. I respect your legitimately. I don't want people to agree with me. I respect that everybody opinions are like assholes, right? I respect that everybody just speaks their truth. I legitimately do, and I don't want to change anybody's opinion. I guess I'll just say this: my own opinion in life is I'm naive enough to believe in a meritocracy. So I don't think your race, your religion, your IQ, any of that shit really matters. I think it's your character, and I think I don't really believe it. I think some things give you legs up for sure, but to me, people are people. And people in Japan are just as stressed out as people in, Brisbane, Australia, are just as stressed out as people in Texas or California. We're just battling different stuff.
You know what? Tan does raise a good point there. What do you think would be the best watch to take to Japan out of these watches here?
I wore my Explorer 2 last year, actually. That was a great travel watch because you can move the hour hand so quickly.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about the Explorer 2. It's not the fact that it has the independent time zone. It's the fact you can change the time without fucking up with the minutes. Because I don't know what watches the airline uses, but they're always fucking atrocious at timekeeping, you know? So the fact you can just very quickly move the hour hand is so precious. And
I felt very safe in Japan, so I could wear any watch in Japan and not be paranoid.
Yeah, I saw an old lady wearing a president, a gold solid, solid gold, of course, and walking down this dark street at night, nobody bothered her. It's a different place.
I saw children approximately 10 years old running around playing at 11 o'clock at night because it's completely safe in Tokyo, their biggest city, and they can run around at 11 o'clock at night. And no one was worried about them either. The police weren't worried. Adults walking around weren't worried.
So do you see the little kids on the subway too? There's like 5 and 6 year old kids with their little backpacks walking around.
And the subway. That's right.
Yeah, it's
the
crazy.
Streets, the subway, everything. And no need for a curfew for them. No need for any of that because it's completely safe.
It's like mind boggling, isn't it? I know you could wear a $2 million watch and not worry about it.
Absolutely.
Actually, if you were going to lose a watch and have it turned in, it would be Japan.
Yeah, I dropped my wallet on the bus, and a guy behind me said, "Excuse me, you dropped your wallet." He handed it to me. I had a bunch of cash and credit cards. They are not. Yeah,
it tends to be cultural. Similar thing happened when I was surfing in Hawaii. I made the mistake. I didn't realize that I had my wallet in my trunks when I went surfing, and so ended up washing on the shore hours later, and someone turned it in to the police department with $200 in it.
Very nice story, Doc. We got a super chat here. Patel Philippe, $2. Why is the SD43 not a popular watch? And I got to tell you something.
Good question.
I actually think the SD43 is a bit of a sweet spot. For me, if you asked me, what do you think the best bang per buck watch, if you wanted, I love the Deep Sea. That's bigger. That's even bigger. So I got to tell you, I really think the SD43 is a bit of a sweet spot.
I agree with you.
A lot of people probably feel their wrist can't handle that. It's a little large for them.
But what's happened with fashion with watches is they've gone Rolex SD43. Let's get this baby up. Get this baby up here now. This is such a cool watch. And I got to tell you, if I didn't have my Bluesy, I reckon because they do the SD43 in two-tone. I think that is the sweet spot. Look at that. It's such a beautiful, that is, in my opinion, I don't understand this fashions, right? They went bigger and now they're gone small. I don't understand this shit.
I'm with you. I like it better than the Deep Sea that I used to have. This is more wearable, and a lot of people miss the Cyclops. They're getting the Cyclops here. I mean, it's just a bigger Submariner that's more capable. I don't understand it either. This to me is everything that people have asked for.
I still think if you have a 7-inch wrist, though, it's a bit sizable. So I think a lot of people go to the sub for that reason.
Should they do like a 36 mil sub? Like they have like the reduced size of the Yachtmaster and stuff, or that? I mean, it's not for me, but and everybody talks about the Black Bay. What is it, the 58? Should there be a reduced size Submariner too, like a 38 or a 39?
I got to tell you, no, I think they're good at 41. I think 41 is a great size. I think that's a great size to have there.
I'm a pre-ceramic guy, so.
You had the vintage Daytona. Yeah, I feel you.
But I think the pre-ceramic Submariner has a perfect fit for me, and I'm slightly less than 7-inch on my left.
Oh, your wrists are different sizes too. Isn't that annoying?
Yeah, especially if I've been in situations where I feel like the safest place for a watch is on my wrist, and I'm already wearing one, so I put one on the right and the left until I can get to the bank, and it feels super tight on my right.
Do you swap wrists? I actually swap wrists sometimes, depending on how, because in Texas it gets freaking humid sometimes. I'll swap my wrists, my watch on one side or the other. It might start swelling on me.
Well, I get lazy though. So if I'm wearing it on my left and it starts getting tight on the left, I already know it's not even going to fit on the right. So usually I just have to stop and do an adjustment, bite the bullet.
I got to tell you guys, these Sea Dweller 43s, I think this could be a one and done Rolex for a lot of people. I've actually gone full circle. I'm starting to enjoy chunky monkeys. And I think these are fucking amazing watches. Patel Philippe, $2. Would the SD43 be popular if it was Sand Cyclops? No Cyclops. Look, you know what? I actually like the Cyclops.
I do too.
I think the Cyclops is a very much a Rolex tell sign. You know, my favorite pre-ceramic, if you talk to me about what do I think is a bargain, one of my most favorite pre-ceramic, that's neo vintage, Doc, neo vintage, is the Sea Dweller pre-ceramic. That before they went ceramic, that was 40 mil. It had no Cyclops, solid end links. That was an amazing watch.
It's it's a matter of preference with those two watches. They're almost the same size, and so it's just a question of whether you want a Cyclops or not. I mean, to me, that's the biggest issue between the two. That's the biggest difference.
I want a bracelet. That's what I want. That's the most important thing to me. A bracelet and a bezel.
I mean, are you in a humid or hot area or no? Does it get very hot where you are in the summers?
Hot, yeah, relatively. Irvine, California. Yeah,
you're in Orange County. Okay, I'm there all the time.
Got another super chat here. Patel Philippe, $5. $5. Pull up a single red 1665, big boy, and tell me why this can't be the SD43, and also why it's better than a double red. This is the 1665. This is perfection. This is what it is.
I think Tanzil once upon a time had. Well, now, did he have a 1665 red or did he have a double red? I can't remember.
These things have been hot for years. I remember 20 years ago, these things were desirable.
Yeah,
but,
so that's the red. That's a double. When you say double red, these are very, very collectible. They do a white one. I actually prefer the non-reds because there's too many fake reds. You know. Incredible watch. Absolutely incredible watch. So the question is, pull up the 1665 and tell me why this can't be the SD43. Well, I think, the only thing is it's the Cyclops. Cyclops And why is it better than a double? I don't know why it's better than a double. Why is it better than a single? Why is a single? Did you ever, Doc? This is your expertise. You're the vintage man. Single or
Unfortunately,
double
I
red?
know more about Daytonas than I do about Submariners, but continue.
So we've got
The
the
problem with
single
these seed
red.
rollers is the crystal. You can't really wear this every day without scratching the shit out of it.
You know, a little poly watch, and
Well, but
That's
you
fair.
wear your. I wear my Omega Speedmaster. It doesn't seem to be a problem.
I wear
That's got
my Speedmaster as well, and I end up polishing the crystal every week or two, just because
Oh.
I do have that.
Jay Anthony has the. You got the sapphire sandwich.
Yeah, I have the sapphire.
I think
Sapphire.
it's a matter of taste. I went to a lot of trouble to take a first Megan space and swap out the crystal to a Hesselite crystal, and
wow.
most people just think I'm crazy for worrying about it.
Was that hard to do? Like
It was hard to find somebody who could do it because so many people said it's impossible. You have to change the case, you have to modify. And I finally found somebody who said, no, you don't have to modify anything. It was like an AD who said, no, you don't have to modify. And $200, he swapped it.
I think that's great. When I had my 1803, I scratched it up all the time. It drove me nuts.
I mean, and that's why, you know, obviously it's a Hesselite. I just like the fact that it bends the light in a prettier way to me. And I can polish it if I feel like it's scratched. I just polish it, and then it looks like it's factory for a couple days, and then it's scratched again. So that's just part of the loving of a Speedmaster. You know, you got to wind it every day if you're going to wear it, and you get to polish the crystal. You know, if you want to have it looking perfectly new.
You actually said something I forgot about, but you're right. The vintage Rolex look with like the bubble plastic crystals, they have a vibe. I agree. They're better looking watches. I like the way they look too, better than the sapphire.
And it is nice to think that, oh, it's not going to shatter if I do something wrong. I mean, I've seen in the forums that people have their ceramic bezel shatter if they drop it the wrong way, and crystals shatter as well. So it's nice to know that doesn't happen as much. It'll crack, but it won't shatter and damage the watch itself.
Here we go. Patel Philippe, $5. Only 12 single reds are known to have been made. It was a prototype of sorts for the mainstream double red and finally the great white. The more you know. There you go.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that at all.
Didn't Tanzil have a double red? I think so.
If you send this to Rolex, are they going to swap the dial and keep this one in their heritage collection?
What a wonderful piece there, hey? I got to tell you, Rolex itself there, I think you've got a, Jay Anthony, you got a sub, don't you? You got a sub?
I don't anymore. I used to have a 16610, and I got my dad into a 16613, so I got rid of my sub because he had a sub. I wanted to be different.
Oh, you don't have a sub?
Not anymore. But I'm on the wait list for a Starbucks, but every day I make myself less likely to get one.
Yeah.
I want a Starbucks. I like the Starbucks a lot.
If they offered you a black one, would you take it?
No.
No.
It's got to be a
Starbucks. I want to be a little bit different. I want to be special. But the prices are finally coming down. I was going to buy a Hulk when they were like $11,000, and I'm like, I'll wait till they get cheaper. Now I totally missed that boat. So what do I know? And the Kermits used to be like $7,000 all day too, and now they're ridiculous.
Powie coming on. How can we help you, Powie?
This geriatric bearded cunt, Herman, there's fucking...
Did you have a problem with your Mercedes key? Was that you, Powie?
It was, but what I just want to say is this geriatric bearded cunt has
make a super chat.
He's timed me out in the chat.
Stupid motherfucker.
He's timed me out in the chat.
Oh, this bearded cunt. Oh, this bearded cunt. Oh, this bearded cunt. Make a super chat, you stupid motherfucker.
$2. Powie is a bitch incapable of debate. Powie, I actually had a
That's not
solution to your
nice.
key fob
That's not
problem, but
nice.
you never super chatted to, and I never bothered to. You never came on the show because I was going to tell you Eddie researched it. It's got all the schematics and how to fix it. It's quite simple, but you never came on the show, so how could I give you the information? Yeah, so come on the night show, morning show if you're in America, night show, and we'll go through it. Guys, I want to say a big thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Jay Anthony, it's great having you on here chatting, watchers, talking. That's what it's all about. And I really, sometimes if you can't make it, there's no problem. Don't be obligated. But if you're more than welcome on. And
it's nice to see you're enjoying the chats too.
Yes.
I feel dirty. I feel like I need to take a shower, but no, I appreciate it. I'd say half the conversation today I wish we never got into, but it's been interesting, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, let's go through and thank our people. We had Craig Lewis, Bear Clooney Watchers, William Gaudrian, John C., Jefferson Exotic, William Gaudrian, John C., Little Dave, Herman Piano Dude, GB, Amazing Air Show Videos, GB, Herman Piano Dude, Bear Clooney Watchers, Herman Piano Dude, Bear Clooney Watchers, Big Tony, Bear Clooney Watchers, GB, Patel Philippe, and Herman Piano Dude. Guys, that is the show for today.
And don't forget, guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Show some appreciation for Archie Luxury.
And we'll be back tomorrow, guys. Thank you
and
so
vote
much.
for Trump. Vote for Trump. For the sake of all that is good, vote for Trump. And Paul Wade, go fuck yourself. You can't debate. You're a stupid little gremlin. You're a little munchkin. You're a little you're nothing of a person. Go hide in your corner, you fucking piece of shit.
See you later.
Very funny. Take it easy.